Aquaman, I want you to watch that wide load, yo. Tell me if you heard that new throat spray I have from Costco. Welcome, Kevin Cowie. Welcome, A. Smith. Welcome, Scott. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. If I'm not mistaken, A. Smith, is that from Dazed and Confused in the climax and the big party at the end? And it's drink beer is really what the line. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Scott Balo, welcome. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this interview she did. It's amazing how she can. It's not even the full interview, Balo. It's really just. I think it's just half of it at this point. I think the full thing's airing to. So we're going through the half baked version that they're leaking out a little bit at a time. It's amazing how she can't keep the story straight. Whether the op-ed is about JD, she is retarded or just crazy. How about both? How about Gina Bobina? Bobina sizing these comments. Welcome. Welcome. We have Hoops. Welcome, sir. Word up as well to you as well as Marta. Hello, hello, hello. That's the classic vintage Marta welcome, the Gary Delabate apology tape. Hello, hello. Um, there's a lot of things I want to say to you in person. And JJ Thrash, welcome, sir, and all your generous contributions. Yo, there's Arnold Strong, numero uno. Hello, hello. There's Sierra. Sarah wants the banner to be put on. You're on a tight effing ship. Tight ship. By the way, guys, you've heard Sarah speaking. Wait till she gets on later. I was watching the insurrection trials. How much does Sarah sound like a cross between Natalie Maines and Liz Cheney? She has a lot of the same mannerisms and cadence as Liz Cheney. Rarely, really, like, you can't tell when she's serious. Very deadpan, but very smooth. Sarah's got great stories from when she worked at T-Mobile with Jessica Simpson's now fruit basket father, John Mayer, Richard Marks. God damn it, a few other celebrities. Oh God, I'm forgetting someone. But those are John Mayer, Richard Marks, Joe Simpson, Jessica Simpson's dad, and somebody else. David, welcome. Hey, Depp fam. I had something to ask David. I'm a little okay. I have an offer to make. This is for anybody in here who has the going. You don't have to do any heavy lifting. I'll make it very easy for you. If Sarah can't make it on Thursday, which she is teasing and she threatens this all the time, I am looking for a co-host on the Thursday show here. And it's very depth centric. We're not bound to anything. I'm not afraid to steer off into Stern territory if I have anything, but it's a little more casual. We haven't been casual yet. It's just been things that have happened since. So we've been on a strict format. Last week was the birthday. It's always something. But if anybody wants to co-host, um, at the Deppening on Twitter, the Deppening at gmail.com, ARM-34 on Twitter, and you know how to get me on the gunk forums and stuff. So it's the offers out there. It doesn't have to be one. It could be two people. I'm not opposed to two people. You know, I don't want to get too predictable where it's just her, she and I, or just me. So it'd be nice to get somebody else into the fold here, a fresh voice. Balo. They live. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did I screw that line up? I thought it was Dazed and Confused that line's from at the end when he goes, I'm here to do two things: kick ass and drink beer, and I'm almost out of beer. I know that's in Dazed and Confused. That was when Dazed and Confused is a film that I had a D-scrambler before DirecTV, before digital cable. So in the mid 90s, for about 4 or 5 years, I had a D-scrambler, and you got to see every movie that was on pay-per-view. I must have watched Dazed and Confused 50 times. Something like that. It's just I don't know why. I really like that movie. It's Matthew McConaughey's coming out party. Holly Robinson, Crazy Robin Pete here. Crazy Robin, I love you. We love the Deppening family loves you as well. No Roddy Piper. Oh God, so that freaking Piper movie, They Live. Sarah, you know it too. Damn it, I'm telling you, that was back then when wrestlers did movies it was like a really big deal when you saw a wrestler go outside of the orbit of the WWF or NWA or AWA or World Class or whatever. And it was like a really big deal to see a wrestler outside of the squared circle. And that was like the first time I remember a wrestler was in a movie. Georgie Animal Steel was also in Ed Wood. Let's not forget that. Gina Bobina, your comments are making me crack. Yes, Marta is very underrated commenter in this. Very, very tons of great callbacks and references and rants and stuff. And she does the thing where she does a little cameo appearance and then sneaks away. She just, what they say, roll a grenade in the hen house and then sneaks away with some brilliant. She wants to go out on top with, keep him wanting more, I think, is Marta's philosophy. It's been what's been released so far. Yeah, right, Sarah. So the interview is just been what's been released. Tomorrow night, I think the mother load is on. I think it's NBC. I think it's 9 p.m., which is like, I think so. We're gonna probably do a show based on that Saturday or Sunday, whichever is more convenient. Saturday is such a nothing day this time of year in the summer, isn't it? It's the most depressing, meandering, lethargic day. Saturday, like post June. Ace Smith. There's the roustabout. Nick, I just saw roust. Oh God, I had a I have a Google a test account called Roustabout because of you, just to test like an email if I want to not a fake email, but just one if I want to test it. So I couldn't think of a name, and I was like, my head was up my ass, and I just go Roustabout. And it was taken, so I had to use a number. There's D, welcome. Oh, it makes me hard. That makes two of us, D. That makes two of us. Hard eight. Is that a J.J. Abrams movie that Howard bootlegged? Hard eight. Therapist notes are a joke. It's all here to say. Speaking of therapists, I'm gonna start with something. So we have, what is it? It's 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. Um I One of the things I like to do now because it saves my voice and I think it's efficient to do this. I like to voice over stuff instead of reading it. So if I see an article, I will voice it over as Mr. Feeny or myself, whatever the hell the mood strikes me, and then I'll play it. I'll make a video out of it and I'll post it as an individual thing because it's easy to do. It's easy to stop it. It's actually more work, but somehow I just enjoy the process of that. And I did this with Dr. Speigel, who was the kook psychiatrist Amber Heard used, who did an actual op-ed piece for Newsweek. And I kind of feel sorry for him because he's just doing his job. It's literally one step away from like Craigslisted, where they recruited him, and he just gave an analysis. And the guy could be very well good at what he does, but he just got eviscerated. Just everything attached to Amber Heard. There's a Trump book called by one of the guys from the Lincoln Project, Rick Wilson, and it's called "Everything Trump Touches Dies." I think the same could be applicable to Amber Heard and anybody associated with her. You just hated it. She just sucks the charisma and plausibility out of everything. And Nick knows nothing about Johnny Depp. That's the ultimate compliment, that you are willing to sit through this knowing nothing about the guy. It really is crazy. Hey, Melvin, are you in the chat? I'm not going to talk about this until I see you. I want to thank you for your insane research again. I don't know how the hell you felt. You're a disturbed, scary individual, and I mean that in the best possible way. Oh yeah. Thank CB. That is a great. So that actor is Nicky Cat. Remember that guy? He's like a swarthy looking. He's in a bunch of stuff. You'll know him if you see him. And says it to Adam Goldberg in Dazed and Confused. That's exactly the actors in that scene. Thank you, CB. I thought I was like I'm hallucinating that line. And Kick-Ass, Dazed Confused is the greaser water tower. Thank you, Johnny Triano. That I didn't know it was called that. There's some line about nothing better than eating a stack of pancakes after a night of drink. Nicky Katz. Thank you, CB. One of my favorite little cult movies. No, 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 Nick. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is my generation. I mean, everybody. I mean, I was young for that movie, but I knew there was so little to do growing up that eventually some older friend on the block introduced me to that movie. And did you know Nicolas Cage and Anthony Edwards are in that movie? I think they work at the fish place with Judge Reinhold, and that you didn't. It's like before they were famous. What's the story on that? Cameron Crowe did a 21 Jump Street and actually went undercover in a high school and pretended to be a student to research that movie. Is that how that goes? I thought I heard that somewhere. Paul Orndorff supposed to play the Russian in Rambo 2, but McMahon nixed it. Did he really, Pell? Did you hear that like on a podcast? Paul Orndorff, I knew before he was in the WWF. I was a little kid, and I think I remember him wrestling in Georgia, WCW, NWA wrestling on TBS, like very briefly, and then he vanished. Wrestling's really weird like that. It's scary. Like guys just disappear out of the federation, and then he popped up in the WWF, and I'm like, God, I think I liked. He was a good guy, I think, in the NWA as well. The Beach Bum is here. Speaking of Don Morocco, there's the Beach Bum. Hi, welcome, Mr. Morocco. Beach Bum, Beach Bum. There's nothing funnier than Don Morocco getting chided and heckled in the middle of a West wrestling Rocky Johnson or Jimmy Snuka, and the fans chant Beach Bum. Which is kind of a backward compliment. And he's so rattled, he can't get his bearings. If somebody chanted Beach Bum to me, I'd be very happy. Either way, let me know about the co-host thing. Oh, Bela, you would. Hmm. Do you know enough about Belo to do it? Because you're more than welcome. And Sarah is very serious about the alternative rock podcast because I think that'd be really good. I'm sure there's a few out there, but there can't be enough. I mean, that's a great genre to take about. By the way, going through this is David going through the old Radio Gunk with Johnny Bye Bye. Yes, Johnny Bye Bye, if you're in here, thank you so much for uploading the Gunk archive starting from 2015. Your Vinny Favali episode when the allegations broke is riveting. David, you steal my brain. I last night we're doing that show and I couldn't think of the O'Reilly show, and then there was one just like it, and it in fact is the Vinny Favali show because it's kind of like a debate. It's like Monique and I against Dennis and Benjamin over Vinny Favali's Me Too stuff. And we're like, you can fire anybody you want. You can't, you don't have a birthright to work on Letterman or the CBS late night show for the rest of your life because you're a comedy nerd. If they think you're a creep, they can fire you. And Benjamin's like, no, it's not, you can't fire him. Like, no, you can fire anybody you want for any reason you want. I don't I don't know if I agree with it. Maybe he is a creep. If you work for the Stern Show, chances are you are a creep. And he was a writer on the Stern Show. Arm, a bag of ice, tattoo sketch drawn up yet. Dominant male monkeys. Oh, okay, that's right. That's right. That's right, CB. When they call him a Neanderthal. Thank you, Sunflower Dragon. Yay, I get arm. That's such a compliment. Thank you, Sunflower. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all your contributions over and you were in every chat and every thread. We are lucky to have fans like you or contributors like you. You are a contributor. He apologized to you afterwards. Mackie, welcome. He was bizarre. Feeny, Eric Matthews, Mr. Matthews. I suggest less Super Nintendo and more Gutenberg, JJ Thrash. He played for the wrong team. I felt his physical issues would never mock him. Sarah's going to be with us in like 10 minutes. I don't know how the hell she's in the chat and she's going to join us soon. I don't know how that she is Nightcrawler. I don't know how she is teleportation because she's going to be joining us in like 5 to 10 minutes. Unless I'm so behind. You guys are fun. That's a line from is that a line also from Days Confused? Do you know all the dialogue? Melvin. Ideally, folks, Arm will interrupt and yell at himself via the voiceover the clips he has pulled over and talk. Hey, Melvin, so now that you're here, and I know you're here, and I'm a little behind. I don't know how you did it. You found the clip to the Sixth and Jump podcast with Dan Soder, comedian, a very funny comedian. He's a very underrated comedian. I think he's really funny, and I don't use the F word unless I mean it. I think that guy's really, really underrated and funny. Dan Soder, Ari Shafir, who had a feud with Howard a few years ago about podcasts, and he really that's a guy who doesn't give a shit. He's on Rogan's. He's a real loose cannon. And Jay Okerson had a 21 Jump Street attempt at a podcast. This is like during the pandemic, and they were milling over. Want to do Miami Vice? Do you want to do? And this is like before. I mean, the Amber Heard stuff has always been kind of there, but it hadn't hit yet. It was still brewing, and so they decided just like this capricious attempt. None of them knew anything about the show. They have very kind of piker knowledge of Depp, but enough. And very, very funny attempt. And it's like I love, and I found it on YouTube, and they basically were doing a 21 Jump Street review, and they stopped. I mean, it's just like you're 2 steps away from orgasm. They just stopped just before Greco. And you talk about blue balls. So at the end of season 2, they just stop because I guess they didn't think their careers were coming back, and the stand-up clubs were being, all the clubs were shut down during the pandemic. And who gives a shit about their stand-up? How could you bail on that? Oh my God. And I I saw it, on YouTube, and I went nuts telling them that we're doing a Depp podcast, and I had all this stupid 21 Jump Street knowledge, and I just started just whipping Jump Street and Depp facts at them, and they read a bunch of them. It's on YouTube, and Melvin here is an animal somehow found. How did you find that, Melvin? How did you find that podcast? And then he found where they read my emails out loud. There's at least 2 episodes where it's like one of them is like 15 minutes of it, and then the other one you saw, it's like 5 minutes. And I don't know how you found that, but I actually have the video if people want to see it. That the one that Melvin saw. There's 2 of them. One of them's way too long for this. We'll do it next time. So I will do Mike DeMoon, Brad's Bud. Oh, okay. Nicholas Coppola, Brad's Bud #2, says CB in Fast Times. I remember you said you like DeMoon from Fast. Oh, well, Mike DeMoon, Balo, is on Jump Street twice, and he plays a rookie cop who has to ride with Captain. I think A. Smith just watched this episode, and he rides with Captain Fuller, who's administration during a police strike. And then he's in the pilot in season 4. Not the pilot, the opening episode of season 4 when they moves to Monday nights. You're right. You're right. Cameron Crowe is the kid from Almost Famous. And when he graduated early, he went back to high school and wrote a book that. Okay, thank you, CB. I knew I heard that somewhere. I was right. The Magnificent Don Morocco. I'm extremely opinionated, and I know a lot of things, and I know a lot about nothing. All right, Bale, that's good enough. That's what we do here. To any fill-in co-host, says Sarah, you have to have a basic knowledge of how to click a link and turn off your camera in StreamYard if you choose. After that, you can talk about any topic on the Thursday show. Wow, you run a tight effing ship, Sarah. You truly are Liz Cheney. I'm reading that in Liz Cheney's voice. No such thing as a coincidence, says Gina. Don't forget the woman Phil Spector turned Lana Clarkson in the Fast Times plays a subway guy from The Ghost. Good call, good call. And Mr. Hahn is the judge in 21 Jump Street's season 2 opener. The opening episode of season 2 with Jerry Seinfeld's father, Morty Seinfeld, played by Barney Martin, is the grandfather on trial with Mr. Hahn. Wow, Marta, we'd love to have. Yeah, Marta, if you want to join in for 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be the whole show. I know it's a lot of commitment. If you do a remaster of Depp's interview on Howard, I'd happily co-host or Tim Burt. Well, David, we're doing a Depp versus Stern like mega episode. So what I'm doing is I'm going back, and I'm just every mention of him that I can find, even if it's political, when Depp was speaking out against Iraq, and he was absolutely right in 2003, and Howard was the fucking badge bunny, armchair warrior, stolen valor, phony baloney, and then turned tide and then changed his tune. And so that was, but there's tons of Depp mentions on the show over the years, not just the interview he did in October of 2001. We've done that. He wants to do a remaster. That's not a bad idea. Have Bon Jovial remaster it, and then have people re-listen to it again, and we can stop it. And that's not a bad idea, because that's the first real episode we did on the Deppening. was Depp's appearance on Howard. I can co-host the '70s pop music show and the Philly sports show. All right, okay. Well, we'll talk Wilbert Montgomery for 2.5 hours. My favorite Philadelphia 76ers, not one it's Armin Gilliam, followed by Roy Hinson. Hello, Texaho. Hello, millennials. Texaho wants to say hello to all the millennials. There's G Canada. Hooper. I love when Ari called Howard out of it. Yes, Baylor. That's right. I'm going to play that at some point. Hey, Hooper, I'll co-host if you want to talk Shirley, Mastic Shirley. Did you hear we brought that? We had a little Mastic Shirley segment last night, Hooper. So we're at 4. It is 7:36 Eastern Standard Time. Sarah should be along in like 10 minutes. Radio Gunk, were you commenting on your narration of your drive as Doctor Who time travel is mind bending? I'm very proud of that, and I should do another one down the road. Go back to 17 Squabble Lane. I swear to God, it is scary out there. It is. There are cameras everywhere, and it's the most uninviting terrain. Just you've seen it all. Anyone who's from like Florida with the Palm Beach and the high bushes, and it's just like you civilian pedestrians keep out. You are a have-not. Do not come near. I should have just. Who gives a shit? I should just walked up to and just rang the thing and said, sang the Mark Harris song, "Dear Howard Stern, you're disgraceful. Can't you see?" When Ari Shafir got canceled after his Kobe comments, I was waiting for them to come after Howard. And Ari's a weird guy, David. Can you really cancel a guy who doesn't have a show? Like, what are you canceling him from? And he knows that. He tries to be this kind of like outlaw, you know, I don't want to say pirate, but he's like, anti-establishment, just overly controversial, like forced almost, where it's provocative, where you almost don't believe his bullshit, when he's kind of trying too hard to be provocative. Clint from DC says kick ass and drink beer. Piper on the said kick ass and chew gum. So I guess they live predates Days Confused by like 10 years, right? You should have a rotating co-host chair on Thursdays for like 30 minutes or so. You'll be able to pick out the good ones. Not a bad idea, Sunflower. I don't know. You're all welcome to say as long as you want. If Arm takes phone calls, I'll make a few. You know how that's done, G Canada? You have to get like a burner phone and create a phone number and then have it on speakerphone. And then so if there's we can't hear you can't hear us. So when you talk to Monique, she can hear you. You can't hear me. You can't hear Dennis. You can't hear Xavier. All you can hear is Monique. So there's some system she has to set up where you can actually have a conversation with all of us, because we're like talking to you and you can't hear us. It's just so strange. My summers are spent in Shirley a long time ago, says John O'Reilly. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the beach. It's the ocean. So if you drive south on William Floyd Parkway, you are on the Atlantic Ocean, and the beach is fine. It's great. I've been there many, many times. It's the ocean's the ocean. It's like somehow the Hamptons thinks that they have some kind of Brita filter that cleans their water better because their income category is better than the people who live in Massac Shirley. Like somehow their ocean is cleaner or something. That's truly the mentality. I swear to you. And it doesn't look better. In fact, it's actually dirt. Whose Sunflower Dragon is from Florida. I think there's a bunch of Marta's from Florida. And the water, the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean is so much better down south than it is by us. It's the terms of clarity and the warmth of the water. It's a way better experience. One time I went to North Carolina, South Carolina, like on the border, North Carolina, South Carolina, and it is the greatest ocean experience I've ever had. It was not bath water, but it was water that was cool enough, and you never wanted to get out. The waves are unbelievable. There was no shells. It was so much better than Long Island. Southern John. It's Jesse is Crazy Robin. Absolutely. Low hanging. I'm tired of it too. Low hanging fruit. So I'm getting a trigger. I believe Sarah is going to be joining us within minutes. So I might just start with let's do just in homage to Melvin. Let's do Arm's little cameo appearance on the Sixth and Jump podcast and I'm going to see if I can find it Video file, Armageddon, pompous little folder I made. Here it is. Okay, so this is ARM on the 6th and Jump podcast. It's just kind of cool to see the Radio Gunk brand brought up in this setting. It's kind of fun. And thank you, Melvin, for
his cool guy Greco coming in. I feel like he showed up. They didn't change his hair or anything much from how he no, I'm saying as a human being, I think he walked into the audition looking like that.
I think so too. That's how I remember. That's how I remember him, just like day one, like he's this hot dude.
Yeah, I feel like Johnny Depp walked in with like a pink t-shirt on and like yellow OP shorts. Like Johnny Depp.
Well, interesting you say that, because we've got a lot of good stuff, but one of the things they talk about is how Johnny Depp talked. Well, interesting you say that, because we've got a lot of good stuff, but one of the things they talk about is how Johnny Depp talked about the character of Tommy Hansen in an interview. And I want to read it for you, because it's an interesting quote where he said producers initially wanted Tommy Hansen to be like the Alex P. Keaton of Jump Street.
What does that mean?
That's what it means. So John Arm from Radio Gunk, who's got a bunch of great 21 Jump Street stuff, said that the Hansen character got analyzed in a Rolling Stone interview. Depp's take was Hansen and I would actually...
Can I pause right there? And let's just take note that this awful show we're watching, there was a Rolling Stone interview on it.
And they wanted to know,
Rolling Stone was the biggest magazine in the world. Like,
I'd be blown away if there wasn't a magazine cover that had the whole staff on, like meet the new fucking like meet the new Rat Pack.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, I would love, send that in if you're listening. Send in any kind of PR you can find from 21 Jump Street and magazines like Rolling Stone and shit like that. But in the interview, Depp's take was Hansen.
I don't know a lot about AIDS.
Yeah, my name's Johnny Depp. I don't know a lot about Tommy Hansen. I just play him. Hansen and I would actually hate each other. Hansen is a prototypical young Republican fascist super cop, and I'm the polar opposite in my own life. Virtue signaling.
Jeez. This guy early days.
This guy knows
voice. I know how to use it.
This guy knows an Amber Heard charge is coming down the pike.
yeah. I don't know. He goes, I'm actually a hellion and a bit of a.
So just to give you context, this came out right around the start of the pandemic, and the Amber Heard stuff was just kind of brewing, and they're just teasing it, and you don't really know where it's going. The UK verdict had not even been levied yet. So it's just like Depp is kind of canceled. I don't even know. I hate using canceled. How do you book a European tour for 40 dates and you're considered canceled? You can't cancel Johnny Depp. I mean, I'm sorry. You just can't. Warner Brothers might bail on him, Disney, but he's not internationally canceled, not even close. But this is so these are three board comedians who have stuff going on. I mean, Jay and Dan Soder have that the Bonfire show, which I think might have been pulled by no, it had gone another 6 months. Then they pulled it. I don't know if they had some weird. I think Howard had a lot to do with the delay, and so they might have taken a salary cut, but they're back, and it's probably the funniest show on Sirius, whatever that means. I don't know what I'm comparing it to, but probably easily the funniest show on Sirius.
Loud child.
But I never hit women, so that's pretty cool.
That's the show right out of me. I would never be like that. I fight the system. Because Johnny Depp believes he's more like Crybaby than Tommy Hansen.
Right, Crybaby. I forgot about that.
The show 21 Jump Street initially wanted Hansen to be the 21 Jump Street version of Family Ties, Michael J. Fox's Alex Keaton character, but the cop version. I plan on making him more liberal as the show goes on. Also, he could have just said, I plan on just being myself as the show goes on.
Could have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to be more awesome.
Dude, it's great.
That's interesting.
Then there was another one that I wanted to tell you guys about. This guy's got so much stuff, dude. John Arm from Radio Gunk, he's got like, dude, this one was pretty crazy. Because of Depp's relationship with Tim Burton, it was believed that Warner Brothers wanted Depp to play a much darker Dick Grayson, who's Robin, in Batman Returns.
Oh, interesting.
Depp really got prickly in season 4 because of this, and you can see him get more lazy and apathetic. I can't wait to get to season 4.
More lazy?
Dude, when he turns off, that's going to be so funny.
And he's like, I'll show up, but I'm not going to care.
Whatever.
Hey, you freeze. Line!
Freeze.
Right there.
Freeze,
work.
Who is that? The Chris O'Donnell?
No, he was good in that.
There was no Robin in Batman Returns. Batman Returns is Michelle Pfeiffer.
They waited for Depp and he waited him out.
Well,
like
I think Tim Burton only did Batman and Batman Returns, and Batman Returns was Penguin and Catwoman. So I think they were going to try to find a way to put that in there.
And he's saying he was bummed because he was tied into 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't let him go do it.
Yeah, John also says that I didn't know that Johnny Depp lost the role or was beat out for the role of Ferris Bueller by Matthew Broderick.
Thank God.
Broderick.
Thank God.
Broderick. Hold on, this says something on the second page. Let me just see. Ick.
Ick. Sorry, I didn't read the whole thing. That's thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, that's.
Can you imagine like Can you imagine like a super handsome guy playing that role?
You already kind of want to hate him. I saw it again recently. You almost kind of want to hate him.
It's right. Because Matthew Broderick is so likable, you like him.
Yeah. You know what he looks like, by the way, in that movie? It's Pete Davidson.
Oh,
shockingly
really?
like Pete Davidson in a lot of angles.
Just
don't think overall, just like as you watch, like, yeah, he looks like him there.
You might want to pay attention because life moves by pretty quickly.
Shake it up, baby. Shake it up, baby. Twist the shout.
I've been having
shake it up, baby. Shake it up.
Fun by going. He's back on Instagram because he's got to promote a movie, and I just keep going on there like, you have a tattoo?
This is a cute little. I got another one that's. I don't want to get too self-indulgent there, but it's Melvin found that, and I just had to play it. And there was a video component. And if you're bored and you're looking for a podcast, this Sixth and Jump podcast was just frighteningly funny. And the only problem I had with it is they would veer off into stand-up land too much, where they would start promoting their gigs for a half hour and do that stand-up jerk off, circle jerk with each other. And that would take you off the Jump Street topic that I was. So, but it is, I will never waste your time because life is too short and there's too many damn things to listen to, but God damn it was that good. And how they bailed on it, I have no idea, but we will pick up the slack. I promise you. We have done one 21 Jump Street review, and it was the Christmas episode for Christmas last year, and we are going to start from season 1, episode 1. I have the real deal, thanks to Boff, who gave me the real deal with all the music installed, all the original. So that's going to be Sunflower Dragon writes, I had to run a daily errand on Palm Beach for a friend that lives on the island. They clocked my car and followed me. I was doing the errand, and the cops pulled up to ask me what I was doing in 20 fucking minutes. Is that Epstein land? Sunflower, I believe, where that is scary shit. Mastic. Marta says, yes, that's how it goes. Cameras on every street in Palm Beach. It's exactly how it was. Key West is absolute heaven. Gina, yep. Blue Jays, we're talking Toronto Blue. Jimmy Key and G Canada. Undercover, thank you. Marta, yep, that's Cameron Crowe in Fast Times. Long Island, Rip G. Long Island Beach is a public accessible below high tide line. You can walk legally around the whole island. That's true, Hooper. You can do that. You can walk from Long Beach to Montauk Point if you really want that, which I've thought about doing. My tortured little G Canada says. I love that Squabble Lane driving video. It's one of the first videos. Wow, thank you, Sunflower Dragon. I enjoyed that one. I think I'm very proud of that. I don't know why. It's just very quirky, and I love the job Monique and Bon Jovial contributed putting the map at the end. I don't know why. These guys are the best. Corey, yeah, they're obsessed with Corey Feldman. Right? They call him the Feld Dog or something. That's crazy, Robin. Yes, I'd like to. Every time you get a gunk shout out, and it actually brought people to the show. Outside those guys are pretty big. I'm honestly, I really think it's like the best show in Sirius, and I should listen more than I do. I don't know if they take phone calls. I tried to call once, and they don't. I don't think they take calls. I think they just have comedians on. It's like a quick 2 hours. That's not. Oh, that's. I think it's Jay Okerson you talk about, Hooper. Marta says Ari was doing drive-in. Yes, Marta, good call. They were doing drive-in stand-up shows, like a drive-in movie theater. I think Colin Quinn ran that. I think that's how that went. I don't know if it was different. That'd be funny show in Sirius. Funnier than the Stern Elder abuse. That's exactly who I'm implying. And they almost canceled it. They dropped Jenny McCarthy. Jenny McCarthy and Barstool Sports and Jason Ellis and some other things, and that money went to fucking Howard. God damn it. and they're all pit. You'll hear, you go around, and Jason Ellis will tell you he got fired because of that. Howard stole all the money. That the silent partner. I found another silent partner clip with Chauncey calling Howard out on it in late 2004. Yeah, I don't understand virtual signaling. CB, look at you, look at you. I don't know how you could listen to these guys arm. Why? What? Why? You don't think they're funny? Okay, I mean, that's fine. I've never seen beaches anywhere. Caribbean, Negril, Jamaica, Palm Beach, Aruba, Susa, Jamaican, Cozumel. Oh my God, look at G Canada. Hasn't even been to Vancouver, and he's been to these places. This is happening. What is happening? This is what. Oh, okay. So Tiger Lily likes the bonfire guys. I think she's talking about. That's my keeper, Marta. Never know. Okay, I'm going to play. Thank you, Crazy Robin. There's another time they read my stuff, and it's it's 15 minutes or something. And I was on the verge of trying to, but we were doing this, and I didn't know how to. But they're not even fans. They're not even like super. They just decided to go after an old retro show and kind of goof on it. But the best part about the show is they took the show seriously. So they would they break balls, but they took it seriously at the same time. It was a perfect balance, and I think Sarah heard most of the episodes too. I think she'll back me up on this. I'm gonna add Sarah to the stream now. Hopefully she's there. Sarah, I'm not hearing you yet. You're in the stream. I'm not hearing you. Can you plug back in?
That's because I was muted.
There you go. Okay. You muted. All right. Sarah, will you back me up on Sixth and Jump?
Yes. I've been listening the whole time. Yes, it's a very good podcast. And
how long have you been sitting there?
R.A. Shafir ruined it. I've been here for like 5 minutes waiting for you to.
Okay. I was engaged, and I thought you just. Sorry about that. If I didn't get to you fast enough. Metamucil and Marvel hating hour. Look at this, Marta. Metamucil and Marvel hating hour with Skeletor and Skinny Robin. Yeah. Sue Monster, welcome, John. I thought you and Arm are two different people. Yeah, sure you did. So
I want to, while we're on this topic, we probably moved on, but I want to give I hate this term, shout out to, yes, their Fell Dog episodes, The Bonfire.
okay.
And also they had a very good hot mic moment the other day about Brendan Schaub. And I relish and soak up any Brendan Schaub discussions.
Wait, they goofed on Brendan Schaub?
Yes, but the mic
Aren't
was
they
hot.
friends with him?
No, the mic was hot. They didn't know the mic was on.
Oh, okay.
Break.
Their real thoughts came out. That's the best show, is when the mic is off.
Mm-hmm. But they were just mocking his way of speaking with the.
Did that get back to Schaub, who is like a UFC guy?
I don't know. But they also do a quite hilarious recap or commentary on Roadhouse, the movie.
Oh, you love Roadhouse, right?
I love Roadhouse.
There's a couple of There's a couple of people in that are adept. The guy, the owner of the bar, plays Ken Carver, who's Molly Steenburgen's husband in Gilbert Grape. When I watched Roadhouse like 3 years ago, and the first I go, that's just Ken Carver. He's like, Ken Carver. Well, wait if you call Gilbert. He owns an insurance company, and Gilbert's family doesn't have insurance, and he's going in there. It's a very depressing movie. Even that scene. And Ken Carver keeps harassing him to get an insurance policy, and that's the same guy. I think he owns what's the name of the Roadhouse bar?
Double Deuce.
The Double Deuce, right. Thank you, Pablo. Yeah, we're gonna do a very deep depth cut of Sarah signed off on it too. She's into it.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Howard versus Depp. So all the moments through the years, not just the interview he did, but just all the stuff
I also need, since I have you on, you're actually listening to me, and I won't text you because you never check your phone. I want you to find it can be a plethora of these. So I want you to take a few days to find.
You're blocked, Sarah. That's why you can't. You're blocked from my phone.
Oh, okay. I want you to find a Howard Stern gay clips. I know that's hard to
find.
find.
Okay. Yeah. It's tough to find.
But from Howard TV, I need videos.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm on it.
You expect
Melvin, I have had, I think, 3 iced teas, and I just made another one while I was waiting.
Okay, so Sarah, you ready for let's do. Can we start off just because this is the opening act in the preliminary bout, as my friend Brendan would say. Dr. Speigel and the Newsweek article and what he's going through from the Deppford Wives and the Depp-Heads harassing him and his family, and the Newsweek piece, and then we'll go to Amber, and then which is your baby. I know. So this is. I'm just going to play for you a little bit of who Dr. Speigel is from the trial and his moments where he's jousting with Wayne Dennison, who is one of the lawyers on Depp's team. By the way, who is a partner in the Brown Rudnick. He's not he's actually just like Chew. He's a partner. So I don't know if he has the same salary as Chew.
He's one of the big dogs, so he's got to be making a bit. Usually the people that cross-examine the experts are high up in the firm. Because there's really no room for fucking that up.
I didn't realize that. And so now Camille. Oh no, I'm sorry. Before we do this is.
You cut out. Keep talking. Can't hear you yet.
I have a gift for Melvin.
Okay, you're back.
Is it your fault or my fault when that happens?
I don't know.
People in the chat, tell me if you heard everything I said or Sarah's cutting out, just so we know where it's coming from. So this is for Melvin before I get to Speigel and all his tireless research.
Okay.
I found this on Instagram.
I think it's you that cuts out.
Hold securely or placed into a locker. Line the devices, including the laptops, must be switched off and stowed away into your luggage. Take care, the device does not get lost in your seat.
One more time.
Yeah, when you start a video, though, turn it down just a little bit. They come in.
You have some weird thing with sound. You can't handle rock and roll.
Hold securely or placed into a locker. Line the devices, including the laptops, must be switched off and stowed away into your luggage. Take care, the device does not get lost in your seat.
So they're on their way to the Bahamas. This is like right after the trial, and I guess this is a shout out to Melvin. This is specifically meant for
Melvin is filming this.
Melvin could be filming it, and then is that first class, Sarah? No, is that coach?
Oh, I would imagine. I don't know. I doubt.
Hold securely or placed into a locker. Line the devices, including the laptops, must be switched off and stowed away into your luggage. Take care, the device does not get lost.
Am I crazy, or is that John Aurelia's mix? Is that Shakira next to her on the left?
No.
On her left? Doesn't it look like Shakira?
Just because she's Hispanic doesn't mean she hangs with Hispanics.
No, she looks. Doesn't she? Am I crazy? Does she look like Shakira?
No.
Hold securely or placed into a locker. Line the devices, including the laptops, must be switched off and stowed away into your luggage. Take care, the device does not get lost in your seat.
Look at her bounce. Melvin, look at her bounce in that seat.
That's the real Camille that comes out when she's out of the courtroom, I believe. You know?
I'm reading Melvin's comment.
Sable Beach, beautiful, unspoiled. This is our Brendan's hometown. Sable Beach, beautiful, unspoiled, scenic waterfront. It's the fucking Great South Bay. It's like going into a brown pool.
Yeah, isn't it a lake?
The bay leads to the ocean. You have to cross the bay to get to the Atlantic Ocean.
I'm used to, when you say a beach, I'm used to waves. I've seen video of Long Island Sound and whatever they call the beach out there, and it's just like little mud puddle waves.
Covino and Rich, too, casualties. I didn't realize that, Melvin. Damn it. That's all Howard. That's all Howard's bullshit. Taking all the money, without a doubt. They all confirmed it. Don't think it's like some conspiracy theory. That's exactly what happened. Look at all your fans are going crazy. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, no time is a good time. Nick, virtual signal is right off the phone. Okay, so this is, I'm going to go to now Dr. Speigel. I got to get to Melvin, too. Let's see what he wrote. I didn't say it. So this is Dr. Speigel from the trial, just to refresh everybody as to who and what he did. And he just got vilified for just Speigel being Speigel.
Essentially nullify. The rule, in fact, contemplates that issue, doesn't it, sir?
Again, I'm just telling you the answer to the question. When you're reading me those statements, I'm telling you the response by the other side, who publishes also, is that if that was the case, there could be no expert witness testimony in the courtroom.
Psychiatrists are ethically prohibited from evaluating individuals without permission or
Marta loves Roadhouse too, Sarah. You got another fan.
Yeah.
Great movie. Other authorization, such as a court order. That's the rule, right?
Again, if you're reading that, then I have to believe you're not misrepresenting it. And I would come back to, again, then this whole thing on we might as well get rid of all the expert witnesses we've had throughout all of time for court proceedings. Because what you're saying is unless a court orders it, and that's what you just said, or the APA said, then therefore expert witnesses cannot do an evaluation based on an observation of the medical records. Insurance companies cannot do evaluations solely based on medical records where their doctors rendering professional opinions. So at the end of the day, you are essentially saying that unless someone has directly evaluated it, this whole medical system we have, this whole legal system we have is null and void.
I'm not saying...
No, yes, you are, sir. No, you are.
Well, give me a second, and I'll give you more than a second. What I'm saying and what I am reading to you is a rule by your organization that takes into account that there could be court orders that would permit the exact kind of evaluation that you say.
Very important to watch Depp, Camille. She wasn't even looking at him, but Depp and Camille rolling their eyes and grinning the whole time every time Speigel speaks.
Sorry, Melvin says, is anyone else having Vietnam flashbacks watching this testimony? God, we all went through it. I'm watching at work. I've been listening to her direct examination from Bonnie. I'm talking about Amber Heard. I was listening to that all day. I got to tell you, PTSD kicked in. Real PTSD kicked in listening to her, and like and I'm still zooming in, looking for any wetness on the cheeks and dry as the Sahara.
I'm eliminated.
And I think we're going in circles because I think I just said that means expert witness testimony
Thank you, Ben,
would not be allowed. And the branch of forensic psychiatry would be especially hindered. And we know the branch of forensic psychiatry does not prohibit that. So I am a member of the APA. That doesn't necessarily mean every.
Okay, so I was reading something the other day. I read a lot, you see. And they were saying that if you have, they were talking about Shannon Curry. That's what I was reading.
Okay.
But they say if you have a profession in mental health, odds are you have a history with mental health, and you decided to take that on as your profession. I can totally see that with this guy. He also slips up at some point during this cross-examination and says that he has also been a patient. So I'm not going to ever mock him for his physical issues because he's got that tongue tick that he does that people make fun of him for.
Yep.
I would never mock him for that. But he's so eccentric here. She chose the right psychiatrist to lose this case.
Well, I want to, it says before, by the way, that was me that cut out. So it's not you. That's on my end. So it's each time it's happened a few times. So it's definitely me.
Did you also notice before we move on, you also had a grammar error in a thread today that I called you out on? Did you acknowledge me for being correct?
You pulled the Mr. Feeny on me?
Yes, I did. And I
What was the grammar error?
You said join Sarah and I for whatever today's episode.
Oh, it's Sarah and me?
Yes.
I don't know. I've never been able to master it. I sound like when you say me and you say me first.
No, because if you
I've never been able to master that.
If you cut, well, more than me.
Thanks for bringing attention to it, because I will get you back. and with Mr. Feeney's voice, you just open up Feeny Dora's box.
I take them when I can get them, and I rarely get them.
You're gonna get the wrath of George Feeny. I'm telling you.
Oh, is that the nickname?
Yes, it's his real first name.
Okay.
I looked it up. It's depending on Twitch also. It's not on Twitch, G Canada. G Canada likes to post things twice. So he'll post the same comment on Twitch and YouTube, and you'll answer him 2 different ways. He expects you to answer him 2 different ways.
Oh, look at that. Scott Bayless says I'm right again. It was
he's
too
like
loud.
you. He has, what is that? Esophia or whatever, whether you have the sound, no, it probably was really loud. But what's the thing? It's esophomia or something.
It's called a childhood
phobia.
It's called coming from a childhood where my mother would bang pots around when she was mad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't handle it. Sarah's right again.
single thing they put in there, everybody has to uncategorically agree with, because clearly that's not the case.
Did you agree in your deposition that the professional opinions you rendered were?
Pablo wants an ARM After Dark where you play all the deep chat, like, as in like R-rated NC-17, or just go like really like deep cut. Yeah, like I think
You could
Stern
have like a
talking about.
men only. Well, I guess women can join too,
I think he's
but like
talking
where you just
Stern.
evaluate a porn. I wish you could do
Yeah.
that. That'd be fun.
I'm sure isn't that what like Twitch does or all that? What happened to Vine, by the way?
I don't know. It's
I was
Anthony
thinking about
Cumia,
what happened
his
to is it
playground.
Vine still around? Remember Vine was big for like 6 months? Has
Yeah.
that been like trampled by TikTok?
All I know about it
Vine?
is, and not to drag this back again, but Anthony Cumia got caught following 13-year-old girls on Vine.
Ay. How does he kind of gets a pass, right? A little bit, like, in terms of you still have people kind of
Most people don't know
denying
he's still
that
alive.
side. Well, that's really icky. Well, what is it with these radio guys and
I
the
know.
Wigophile studies? At least Anthony owns his hair plugs, right? Isn't he very honest about the hair
You
plug?
have to have a level of deviancy to be in radio.
I that radio too.
I've determined.
Man, that is so icky. This circle, it's just it's relentless. Is anybody having, any kind of morals in that? It's crazy.
No.
Inconsistent with the Goldwater rule.
Yeah. My first position, if we're saying that if the Goldwater rule says, and I very much said that during deposition, that the Goldwater rule was made for presidents
I want to comb his
and
hair.
public figures such as that. But regardless of that, because that's what it was made.
Well, that's the thing. He knows what he's doing. There's no way he doesn't have with a
he's
nutty
very
professor persona. No, he's absolutely and he might be very good at what he does in a one-on-one psychiatric session. He might be good at what he does, and I will defend.
He's too eccentric to be on a nationally televised trial and to be cross-examined by somebody with skill.
Well, they came after him, so they did literally like a Craigslisted him, and then found you got to have a guy who has the balls to get up in this trial in front of insane amounts of millions of people watching you and defend Amber Heard and try to vilify Depp's psychosis and talk about drugs and talk about. Well, I mean, that's you're not going to be beloved when no matter who you are.
He did it to himself. He diagnosed Depp based on Jack Sparrow.
Do you really think he would have been liked if in any way, whoever this was? Do you really think?
I gotta have a little faith that if Depp's team hired him after they did the practice run, they would say, "Yeah, we may not need you."
Yeah.
She's so desperate for anybody. She took anything coming in the door.
I don't know if they're doing a charisma test, how they do this, because her people clearly didn't. But is it the association with her that detracts from your own charisma? Like I said before, that guy Rick Wilson had a book from the Lincoln Project, Everything Trump Touches Dies. It's the same with Amber Heard. Like, everybody associated with her eventually would just be just completely devoid of any charisma or plausibility, right? Is it, and I said the ultimate scenario, the what if you switched legal teams, how does this trial go?
Yeah.
Right. And this guy, it's a total catch-22. He's going to be hated no matter what he does. And look, I mean, I'll play some more and then CB's quoting fucking Airheads with Joe Montana. Oh, that's such a crazy. That's so funny.
It's not made for Hollywood, but I'll even take that Mr. Depp's a public figure. What I'm saying to you is that the Goldwater rule is saying we cannot do any expert witness testimony in our field. That is exactly what the Goldwater rule is saying based on exactly what you read. And I'm just telling you what you are saying that rule encompasses.
What I'm asking you, sir, is did you comply with the ethical requirements of the APA when rendering the professional opinions that you've rendered today?
It is a requirement of the APA. It is not the requirement of the APA. Secondarily,
so the answer is no.
Secondarily, again, in order to not, we wasted our whole morning because there was an expert witness before me. There's an expert witnesses everyone brought in. So all I'm saying to
he also has a speech impediment, which doesn't help him either, and it's not that he's mispronounced. He can't say narcissistic. He says it a zillion times, and he just can't say it. And he's just, again, I don't blame him for being defensive, because what you're doing here, no matter what he's getting paid for this, you're castigating his entire profession, his entire career, his entire practice in front of everybody. He has to push back. He has to defend it. He looks like a moron. There's no way he can come out of this where people are just going to go, yeah. I get it. I see your side. Depp's so beloved. His charisma is so strong. Anybody you throw at him here is going to be vilified. And just, and again, go ahead.
Sorry. Thank you, A. Smith. Got a super chat from A. Smith.
Okay, I'll get to it. Partners all have the same salary. Those. Okay, thank you, Sunflower. So Dennison and Chu get the same. I think is it $850 an hour, or is it $1,000?
I think it's probably between that and 1,000.
Okay, Kevin Cowie, welcome. I don't know if I said hi. Gungadin, welcome, sir. Hi, Arm. Don't feel left out. I didn't see you. Did I miss you, Gungadin? I'm sorry if I did. Now Howard, as everyone else, has to be making less money. Yeah, it's the people in his wake. Oh, he's going to get it bad. Oh, if the karma police.
Yeah, keep talking over you. I'm sorry.
No, go.
If you haven't made it clear before, these Thursday shows, whoever wants to join can join, and you don't have to talk about Depp. The weekend show is going to be mainly Depp. This can be Depp and whatever, or it can be whatever.
It's kind of like an open chat in a way.
You can
I
talk
have
about
a tendency
Howard
to.
for 5 hours. I don't care.
Marta says Dr. Speigel should never have done this trial. He bit off way more than he could chew. I love how she embraces the corny pun with the crying, laughing. Well, we're gonna get to that, Marta, because he writes a Newsweek op-ed piece, which I don't know, kind of makes me feel sorry for him. His family's just getting hurt, and I believe him. I believe that the Deppford wives and the Depp-Heads are that rabid. Where you look at what Amber Heard gets on Twitter, you know he's getting the same. Anybody associated with her, he looks nuts. He's like Jeff Van Gundy and Doc Brown from Back to the Future at a kid. He's got a lot of that same kind of, he really embraces the
Jeff Van Gundy now. That you
see what I mean? When he gets going.
That means the whole field of medical legal law is corrupt and unethical for engaging in an act that the APA clearly says we should not do. So if you're saying that, then the answer is yes, I'm agreeing with that statement. You're agreeing that
Dennison's just condescendingly chuckling at him. I know that just shoots down. And and Spiegel's not an idiot. He sees what he's doing. It's not like he's going, I don't see you. He sees him laughing. He knows exactly. And again, he's got to push back. This is his entire livelihood and reputation and practice. Like his whole thing is just being. It's like he's on trial. He's a witness, but it's like he's on trial. He knows how this is going to reflect on after this hits the fan. I think he in the article he says as soon as he left the building he knew it was coming.
Yeah. Are you playing your reading?
The APA would deem your testimony and your professional opinions rendered unethical.
I'm saying you are saying that I'm an expert witness. I'm saying as an expert witness and solely as an expert witness, that guideline is permitting that from occurring. I would say then that the whole field of expert witness testimony, again, would be disavowed by what you are quoting in the Goldwater. And we know that's not the case, because if it was, we would not be allowed to do it.
And you said the rule was for presidents, right? And
that was initially for presidents, yes.
Okay, good enough. So now I'm going to play.
Oh, before you play that, I want to, because it's just,
see what David writes about Robin Williams' widow.
She cried with no tears too. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
weird. That is a weird thing. I tear up like an hour before I start to sob. So there was a review on Spiegel's website, or maybe it was like
Are you looking at it?
No, but it was made public. People posted it everywhere. But right after he testified and he was going through the mocking, they posted a review from one of his patient's daughters from about 2 or 3 years ago. So well before this. So it's not a fake review. But apparently her father was a raging alcoholic and Speigel had put him on medication. if I'm remembering correctly, the medication ran out, and they kept calling Speigel, and he wouldn't respond.
Wow.
The father
So
eventually
that's a
killed
real.
himself.
That's not a Deppford Wife
It's a
trolling
real
him. That's a
review.
real. Wow, that's crazy shit.
But the father was going through such a time, he eventually killed himself.
Oh my god.
The title of the review, I believe it was something, I'm paraphrasing, was like, Dr. Speigel killed my father. Like, wow.
And this you can't chalk it up to Depp super fandom or Lemming or just it's all just a totally completely compartmentalized from bifurcated
Mhm.
from the trial stuff. That's crazy shit. That should get you kicked out of your license revoked. It doesn't get any
At
worse than
least an
that.
investigation.
It's hard, I don't know what the deal is, and I don't know if anybody here is a licensed psychiatrist or whatever. You have an answering service, and God forbid wasn't What About Bob all about this? But Bill Murray just kept trying to get in touch with
I
Richard
never
Dreyfuss
saw
the
it.
whole time. And if you, God forbid, check out of try to go on vacation or check out of it, somebody that's blood on your hands.
Mhm.
I don't know if are you allowed to just check out and not check your messages and
I know
shit?
usually
Or is
you
that
refer
some
your
ethical
patients
violation?
to like a temporary fill-in doctor.
Okay, Melvin writes, Vine shut down because it failed to support its content creators. High levels of competition, lack of monetization options, personnel turnover, as well as issues at the parent company of Twitter. I did not know that, Melvin.
Okay.
Thank you for writing that naturally and not copy and pasting that just came from your head. Thank you. All right. It's okay. So I'm gonna go now. This is Dr. Spiegel's response. It's so pompous who he writes my turn in the thing.
Mhm.
My turn. And so he did an op-ed piece. And by the way, what is with Newsweek and the anti-Depp Senate? Like
That's all
Mia
mainstream.
Farrow and Ed
That's all
Norton.
mainstream because
I
they didn't
know.
pay
It's something.
attention.
I wonder who their parent company is. I wonder if there's something going on.
I don't know.
Something's going on with Newsweek and Depp. Newsweek. My turn. I testified in the Heard vs. Depp trial. The backlash has been horrific by Dr. David R. Speigel. I heard the news that Johnny Depp had won his defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard as the verdict was being read on June 1st. I was very disappointed, first and foremost, for Miss Heard, who should have received much more of an outpouring of support than she did.
Ugh.
I have been a practicing psychiatrist for around 30 years, and have previously provided medical malpractice expert witness testimony. But before the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial, I have never
agree,
provided
Melvin.
witness testimony in
I
any
have one set up.
high-profile cases. Melvin wants a Patreon so you can do whatever you want
I
on
know. I
it,
have one
kind of
set
thing.
up. I just haven't put
Yeah,
anything on it. I think we should
it's
do like 21 Jump Street watch-alongs and movie watch-alongs.
award literally gets a Lawyer of the Year award in Virginia because that's a paid award. Yeah, they found
Yeah,
they
they
just
buy
went
it.
for a local. That's a good point. I was asked to be an expert witness on this case in
Thank
you, A. Smith. So I've actually been on the case. So they went after Speigel at 2019 is when they tried to track. He claims. I thought it was. I heard a rumor that they found him 2 weeks before the fucking trial, but he claims 2019. About 3 years, and I have been privy to every single detail of what's been happening for that period of time. But when I signed on initially, the impression I had was that it would be a closed trial. There wouldn't be cameras and fans in the court. Paparazzi outside the courthouse was never a problem. That's something I can handle. But the situation obviously took a different turn once the trial had become a national televised event. That said, I had a job to do, and I did my job. Before the trial, I had one 50-minute Zoom meeting with Amber Heard, and I had lunch with her between sessions on May 23rd. She was very nice, very cordial and polite. I was very comfortable with the subject matter. I'm well versed on trauma and substance abuse, and I was well versed on the facts of this case. But cross-examination is something you're never fully going to be prepared for because you don't know exactly what they're going to do or say. It wasn't as if I was stunned that I was going to be cross-examined, though I was a little uneasy with it being on national television. What I couldn't prepare for was a reaction from the public. Arnold says, Arm, please don't defend this shrink. He has Johnny's life and future in his hands.
I agree.
I don't. I'll defend him just on the sense that I don't think he's turning the tides of anybody. I don't think he's turning a juror around. I think he'll have no impact. He could be completely convincing. He could be fucking John Hamm on the stand, and it wouldn't matter. Depp's charisma would always win the day. I just don't think. I think the backlash. I think anybody she brings in is toxic, and they're going to be sullied for the rest of their lives. And there's just no way. Obviously, we want Depp to just eviscerate everything about her. But the people, there's a little small part of me that feels sorry for anybody that falls prey to this, and because there's no looking good. She just is a blight on all things around her, and him included. And I do believe his family is getting, I think, just getting the
Oh
brunt of
yeah.
it. I'm telling you,
I
these
just
Deppford
don't. I'm
wives are insane.
I'm just against from the beginning. People were mocking his facial tics. It's not
Yeah,
something he can help.
and
Just
he goes
mock him
into
for
that.
his opinion, not what he
Yep.
can help.
He wasn't dealt the genetic hand,
Yeah, the Depp
Depp has, and so
this
that doesn't help
Adonis,
him. It
this
doesn't.
Adonis sitting 2 people away from him.
By the way, they are pretty much. I think they're 4 months apart in age. Depp and
Wow.
Speigel are the same age. We talked. I don't know if you weren't. Were you in the chat when this came up? He said his age, and immediately I kept hammering home to the chat that he's the same age as Depp, which is crazy. When I left the courthouse, I was told to leave when the witness after me was going, because the people in the gallery could not leave at that point. So when I left, they could not follow me to my car. I drove to my hotel, and around an hour later, about 4 p.m., my wife called me and said, Listen, I don't want you to look at what's being said about you. I asked how horrific it actually was. She told me it was pretty bad. I'm not a social media expert, far from it. So I didn't expect the whole horrific post-trial back. Just imagine for a second being him and coming home, and your wife sees this deluge of insane tsunami of negativity online, and you can't get away. Could you imagine being him that afternoon, coming home? It's crazy. Just not that you should feel sorry for. I'm just asking. Just try to step in his shoes for just that afternoon and what that's like with his family. It's crazy. And then having kids that are, I think he's got a kid in his 20s, and then a daughter who's 15 or something. Flow. It's been a little stunning for me, to say the least. By the way, David was a passenger on Titanic, Sarah. I don't know if
I
you
saw
realize
that and
that.
I busted out laughing.
It never gets old. The sheer volume of it, from the personal attacks on who I am and what I present like, to what I look like and what I say. And it was obviously a little hurtful. I deal with people for a living, so I tried to understand where people were coming from. It's what a psychiatrist does, but the comments below, the YouTube videos of me, and they've been vile, and some people have. Yeah, how about that? You come home, you go online, and people are making memes of you and superimpose and photoshops, and it's destroying you. And now you're on the cover of Back to the Future, and it's all just the least, gratifying things you could ever find. And it's gotta be fucking insane. I've access now to my work email, so I've gotten 4 or 5 charming editorials about myself. My WebMD page now has been closed for comments, but if you looked at the site beforehand, there were probably 7 or 8 reviews, and all of a sudden on Monday, May 23rd, and Tuesday, May 24th, there now are hundreds. So it was pretty obvious what had happened now. I'm an adult. It's not the first time I've been criticized, but never like this. On that Monday and Tuesday, I had what I describe as an emotional concussion. It wasn't physical. I didn't get hit on the head. It was emotional because the feedback afterwards left me a little numb and dazed on the inside. I slept a lot on Monday and Tuesday. I was originally going to take a vacation to see my son in New York on May 25th and then come back to Virginia on May 31st. Yeah, Sunflower Dragon. This is kind of like this thing these Juilliard people have where they're from America. In this case, like William Daniels is actually from Brooklyn, and it's this lilt they put on when they go to Juilliard. They take the New York accent and they combine it with this slight British lilt, and it takes on this kind of I don't even want to say death of a salesman. It's more of just like Shakespearean, right? Like Juilliard Shakespearean thing they do. And I'm just fascinated how you could go by pedestrian civilian life and speak like that, in just everyday life, where it's not in a performing setting. First, instead, I started the vacation a day early. Fortunately, I've had a lot of support from my family, and even my patients have been emailing me. And the good news is that my residents and faculty members all support me. They texted me and we're with you, Dr. Speigel t-shirts, and they made those for me. And that was comforting during. That would be hilarious to wear one of those out and run around in a Dr. Speigel t-shirt where you knew Depp-Heads were going to be. That's a G Canada troll. An expert witness is given documents to review and provide their opinion. That's all, says Crazy Robin. My career, I've dealt with people who are not guilty of murder by reason of insanity. I've dealt with people who are psychotic and have threatened to kill me. It has never fazed me one iota, but this did. You start realizing that it really just takes one person who is not seeing things right. I don't think I was. Melvin writes, save the genetic criticism for ARM-BER. Well, she walked right up. She's worked the genetic lottery, Melvin, as far as she could take it. Then took it too far. And then I guess there's taking it too far where your feminine wiles don't work out and it backfires on you, where you think you can get away with any and everything with the feminine wiles. And she actually is an example of taking it too far. And it doesn't happen much, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned in this trial. And this is one of them where the feminine wiles can actually backfire for someone with unearthly charisma like Depp. Paranoid to the point that I was shutting the blinds, but my eldest daughter is still in my house in Virginia. And as ridiculous as it sounds, I have a pit bull. I love my dog. She's a great dog, but she's still a pit bull at heart. This is probably the first time I ever thought in my life, thank God I have a pit bull. I'm glad that my pit bull is there with my daughter. Yes, I am. I don't think my dog would harm anyone, but she should be intimidating. I would have liked Mr. Depp to get ahead of this and to have said, listen, I understand you're upset, but there are ways to express how to be upset. And the fact that he hasn't probably says potential volumes about him. Misheard. So I think you guys all followed that, right? He thinks Depp should come out on Instagram through a PR person, through Savannah Guthrie's husband, and say, "Back off, Depp-Heads. This is not the way. This is not how we. This is not how we roll. Do not harass this guy's family. Do not harass this guy. We won. Take the W. Leave him alone." He thinks that Depp somehow should. I don't even. Sarah, what do you think about that tact? I wouldn't surprise me if Depp did it, by the way. That's in his character to do that.
I can see that, yes, but calm down with the demanding Depp do anything.
I actually don't think he's paying attention to this.
I kind of agree with you there. I don't think he wants anything to do with this anymore.
I think this is so inside now. I think Depp is not a guy who Googles himself. He's not Beth, where he's Googling himself. So he's not seeing. We're way more interested in his life than he is, and I don't think he knows this exists. And maybe he was told about it. He's like, I'm not getting involved.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he knows. And he certainly, the Emperor's Clothes can also be told where he's not told the internet stuff. And I don't think he certainly doesn't know the nuances of it. I think that's for damn sure. Spiegel didn't capitalize on the opportunity to open a YouTube and get a TikTok and become major influence. Pathetic. Could you imagine Spiegel as an influencer?
Hasn't come out and said anything either.
Him and
My opinion
Emily
is that she is the
Ratajkowski.
most vulnerable
Oh,
person in the
God.
whole situation. If I had groupies and I saw them attacking and harassing someone they don't know, I would have said what I said during the trial, that there are ways to express dissatisfaction and there are ways not to. I think when Mr. Depp first noticed this behavior from his fans, you should have redirected their emotions.
Arnold's strong numero uno goes, wait, this doctor was a son? That means he got laid once? That's always funny when someone has kids and you just can't imagine them in any sexual situation whatsoever. Wait a minute. He had to have had sex at least twice. That just doesn't tabulate.
While I still feel this intervention would be welcome, his
Mid-Atlantic
fans
accent.
may be disarmed by the verdict in his favor.
Thank you, David the Violent. David refers to this as a, quote, mid-Atlantic accent. It's sort of Connecticut as well. Or do you pronounce the C in Connecticut? It's when you just blow the C off when you say Connecticut.
There was a
Well,
comment.
since the verdict, I've received.
There was a comment in the chat about the juror coming out. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, I have that here.
I'm going to read the article instead of the video because the article
Oh,
actually
God.
has more.
No, we got to watch the video.
All right, let's go.
The piece of derogatory mail to my professional address and one rude phone call that was fielded by my staff. I have been almost totally offline since May 23rd, and I've told my wife and kids before the trial to get off their personal websites, social media platforms for at least a week before, and 2 weeks.
It is crazy if you're one of his patients and you see this shit. Do you reach out to him and go, no, you have done everything for me. I have faith in who you are and what you are, and I don't listen to them. And I wonder, do you do that?
I don't
Do you
know.
do that?
I
do you
don't
not
know.
bring it
It's
up?
a weird. It's weird.
Crazy shit.
Weeks after the trial. But it probably still is a little bit hurtful for them to see the attacks on me and for the patients I've had relationships with for years. There is potential for professional fallback. I don't think it's going to be 80% of my patients that'll stop seeing me, but I do think some actually will, who I don't even know well enough. They might.
Tiger Lyris, I agree, Arm. There's no way to control people when they get rabid. He should just do what Amber isn't doing and just move on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's going. I honestly don't know what he's going. I don't know the extent that they're going at. He was really reviled, and I remember the second that day ended when he testified, it was like I'm seeing all the, it was just people they just repeat the same shit. He's very much a low hanging fruit. He's such an easy target. And you knew he would get eviscerated. It was so predictable.
Some of my patients that have suffered from intimate partner violence, IPV, have reached out to me and have expressed that Miss Heard's testimony was cathartic. But I've never asked my patients what they think about Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp in the case. So there may be people who, if think it's that important, they don't know me that well, they may actually drop out.
Yes, Marta
I'm
and
also
Crazy
applying
Robin.
for the position of permanent chair of the department in my med school. It's not like the comments from the general population would affect anything. I'm not going to lose my job, but will the whole circus around the trial make me look more or less like a serious academic or a kook? I don't know. My thought has always been that before we choose a hero or a star, it's important to remember that we don't know them. We know their persona. That's why it's better to pick a hero that you know, like a family member, or a teacher, like a Mr. Feeny.
I forgot I did that. Tiger Lee writes, "Good morning, America." Mentioned how unlikable her lawyers were to the jury. LOL. You'd swear Johnny picked her team because yeah, Tiger Lily. I can't tell you how many hours we've spent on this show talking about how charisma is everything in a courtroom now. And I just never realized it until now. And just it doesn't even matter what your skill is as a lawyer and the information you've excavated. It's all about likability and having kind eyes. I really think it's like 80% of the win. I really do. And when you go out, if anybody has to pick a legal team for whatever you do, small or big, Look at their eyes and use your skills of human decency and pick them based on charisma, because I think it's everything. Don't ever underestimate that. If I had a life lesson, that's it.
Then you know them a little more than you know this person you've never spoken to in your life. I would say to the people who have attacked me that just like they don't know Mr. Depp, they don't know me. This is
Is that true, David? Ellen's fans threatened a dog breeder because what'd she do? Like a stupid monologue, and then they just took. God damn, she's fun to watch fall from grace with her fucking all her allegations from her staffers. That's a good one to take down. She's a horrid human being apparently, but I think I vaguely remember that. Do you remember this, Sarah? Sarah? Cut out? Maybe I think she muted and then she might go bathroom. Sarah, you with us? No, I can't hear you. Are you not muted? Can you replug in? I can barely hear you. Are you, should I remove you? Wait a minute, wait. It shows you're muted on my end. Can you come back in? I can't hear you, Sarah.
My career. This is what I do. I'm an emotions guy, so I have no problem with people expressing emotion. But I have people expressing emotion that are hurtful and harmful, whether it be
Can you log back in?
Or the tons of memes. I've seen that it's supposed to look like me when I'm testifying. I would ask people to remember that there are appropriate ways that you can say that you're dissatisfied with my testimony, although it may have been short-sighted. I'm an expert at this. Now I wish Amber Heard emotional healing in this scenario where she was perceived by the general population as a villainess. Trial was, in many ways, an excellent experience for me, though. If it had just been...
A lot of people you didn't know, David led the trolls during the Fatty Arbuckle trial. So Sarah should be coming back any minute now. I just thought it was easier to just have her log back in. Every once in a while, I don't know why, it just gets muted.
The work that I did that led up to it, the trial and the cross-examination, if it had ended in a bubble, I would have said I'd 100% be an expert witness in a high-profile case once again. Now, I'm about 60-40 leaning towards no. Never in my life have I been the target of such voluminous amounts of hate, ever. I will process the emotion, but it will always be there, the knowledge that I was one on the receiving end of such venom. Dr. David R. Speigel is a psychiatrist practicing in Virginia. All views expressed in this article are the author's own.
Sarah, are you with us?
I don't know, am I?
Yes, you sound good.
Oh,
what do you think
Hooper, shut
happened
up.
there?
I'm coming after Hooper.
David writes, the news cycles are so ADHD, he could just ignore it for a week or two and his life would have go back to normal. It's the most pragmatic way to deal with this. Not fun, but pragmatic. Great word, David, from an 85-year-old. Yeah, there's a skill in avoiding the news cycle. I don't think he has any awareness of doing so. In this trial, and Sarah will back me up on this, every day it's so massive that every new witness is getting that level of attention, whether it's Rocky Pennington or Josh Drew or Shannon Curry, or I mean, if you just want to say negative, it's got to all come from her side, or fucking Hughes.
Before I forget, I apologize. A. Smith, I haven't forgot about you. I will get back to you as soon as I can with what we've discussed. Okay.
So David's strategy is right. You go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead.
I went through the last day. I realized, what am I going to do without seeing Johnny Depp all day long for 8 hours a day? Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to miss Ben Chew. How am I going to survive next week without this trial? You do. But, you have that moment because you're getting to know these people as much as they want you to get to know them. You feel like they're part of your life. They're in your life for 6 weeks, for 8 hours a day. And then you're going home watching recaps of this crap. And like for me, I have to have something to listen to at work. And so that makes me attached to them more. I'm fine. But
yeah,
you have that weird thought
Arnold strong numero narrates. The only thing good about this guy is the shrink, is you completely feel comfortable sending your daughter to him, knowing she'll never fall in love with him. Ow! That's true.
Melvin says my
or husband. Either way, you're
sorry.
right.
Melvin says my neighbor's Wi-Fi slowed and it kicked me off. I take offense. I am no stuttering John. I take offense. I pay way too much for my Wi-Fi to even crap out once. So I'm still going to blame ARM for every issue I have.
And you're hardwired, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. I think we all pretend that we understand bandwidth and the internet and its speeds, and I think we're all full of shit. I think it does whatever it wants, and it could fail on anybody. I've seen the highest level of shows crap out. I don't think anybody has it figured out. I really don't. You're all full of shit. We're all Jeff Schicks all of a sudden.
There's a request for our email address. Can you put that in chat?
Yeah.
I can't comment in chat for some reason.
That's right. You don't have. It's pretty simple. I think it's just the deppening at Gmail.
Yeah, it's just the deppening at gmail.com.
Or 17 Squabbling. I have two of them too. One of them is with the 3 B's.
Oh yeah, you do. That's right.
Well, one of the things about having YouTube channels, one of the things that annoys me the most, it's not just losing the content that I upload. It's the channels you've saved that you go to. So now you don't have those anymore. It is horrible. And then the email address is associated with it all the time. So now that email address becomes almost moot. I don't want to sound like Rick Springfield here, but that you know what I mean? So now it's not affiliated with that thing, and now you got to create a new email address in order to get a new. So it's beyond just losing the content. Americans have the memory of a goldfish, Melvin. Yes, we do. Next week, nobody will even know who Speigel is. He'll be fine. Charlie Rose is a new show coming
people
out.
Have already forgot about him.
Louis C.K. He's all the Me Too guys. Would love to see that. ARM, what he's like, Miss Doubtfire. God, I haven't heard. God damn it. I forgot about that movie. The Robin Williams. Charisma and tact, says Crazy Robin. Yes. And tact. Exactly right. It's not just 80% charisma, 20% tact. The jury hated Marsha Clark and loved Johnny Cochran. Good point, Tiger Lily. Amber's team is disjointed, and it showed. So, Sarah, what's next? You want to go to the
let's get into the turd.
Jurors?
No, yeah, let's do that first, and then we'll get into the turd.
I think arm on arm wrestling arm, where he talks over arm, critiques arm's audio. Time's going by. Okay, so we'll do the jury.
Let's do the video, and then I'm going to read the article.
Okay. So this is from ABC News, which is weird. I used to say how there's a Fox News, there's a MSNBC, a CNBC, but there was never a CBS cabled, and they finally came out with these streaming news channels now. And I don't know if it's free for everybody on YouTube, but there's an ABC News now, and it's about time. And then there's a CBS News, and I think they stream on YouTube all day long. And I don't know how many years they've been doing it, but they never had a cable channel. It was just Fox and NBC. Okay, so this is Juror speaks out. And this is Stephanopoulos and Dan Abrams, who is also a Howard stooge, who will sometimes sit in on the fucking wrap-up show. If you still think the Stern Show is good, if you still think, and you're flying, you lose all IQ points with me. You lose all credibility. You lose. I can't respect your cynicism. You're missing chromosomes that you can't see this bullshit, this awful show. If you still think, if you're sitting in on the wrap-up show in 2022, you've lost all credibility with me. So this is Dan Abrams, who's a lawyer, and George Stephanopoulos. We all know the Allie Wentworth history and stuff. So here we go.
Okay.
ABC News exclusive, The Juror in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial. Speaking out for the first time about the verdict, Trevor Arlt here with the story. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, George. You know, this trial had the whole world watching and debating every question, every claim. And this morning, we have exclusive insight into what the jury was thinking. Now, we agreed not to reveal his identity or juror number, so you won't see his face or hear his voice, but he revealed a lot about how these multi-million-dollar decisions were made. This morning, an ABC News exclusive. New details from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial from a member of.
Sarah Hooper says you're still using AOL in Oregon.
Yeah, I
Okay,
pay
that's
way
what
too
happened.
much for AOL then.
Okay, Commodore 64.
Insight into this juror. DUI guy who was watching the jury constantly during this trial because he was in the courtroom. Excuse me. He thinks, I believe he said it was juror 6.
Okay.
With
Which
his
we had a
process
line
of,
on initially. We knew who they were. we went over the chart.
yeah, with his process of elimination. But this juror was apparently a military veteran.
Okay. That's commenting, and this DUI guy thinks he knows. He's connecting it to the proper juror.
Yes.
He somehow is an okay.
The jury, who says a lot of Amber's story didn't add up, and the majority of the jury felt she was more the aggressor.
He balled up his fists, leaned back, and headbutted me square in the nose.
But never did I myself reach the point of striking Miss Heard in any way.
The juror, one of 5 men on the 7-person jury, said Heard's emotional testimony was not realistic.
I want to move on with my life.
The crying, the facial
You see, not to pile on more, we beat this to death, and that's fine. But my reflexive impulse was to laugh, and it's not even.
Yeah, I did
she
too.
can't sell crying, and I'm not. Forget about who that is. It's like I just laughed involuntary, and I just don't. I couldn't help it.
I was nervous. I avoided her testimony as long as I could. I tuned in the second day at exactly the moment where she's telling the bottle story, and it's the most incredible thing I've ever seen on a witness stand. And I thought at that moment, he's won. She has fucked this up. She couldn't do any worse telling that story. But this guy talking gives me faith in humanity again.
Yeah.
The common man.
You know he wants to out himself too.
I don't know, but he doesn't have a choice. She's throwing all these accusations around in this Dateline interview about the jury. He's like, no, you got to say something, and good for him for staying anonymous.
Yeah. It probably won't stay that way. Gina Bobina says, you guys use Google. It happens on other streams only on Google. So if we use what, Firefox? If we didn't use Chrome.
See, the problem with StreamYard, it wants you to use Google Chrome. So
yeah, everything's Chrome, right? It's all linked in. They're all incestuous.
I'm looking into other platforms because I'm kind of getting tired of the StreamYard issues, especially with the screen sharing, the popping sound that automatically happens with that. It's not our issue.
Sound good today.
I know, so far, fingers crossed.
I think Xavier was popping last night, if anybody caught that. And I don't know. I think what it is, and Sarah, if you're sharing something,
when you're sharing a screen like what we're doing now, it pops, and that's anyone from you watch Ricada's stream where he's got 60,000 viewers at a time to ours. It happens. It's a StreamYard issue.
We have 50,000.
I know. I like to think.
Expressions that she had, the staring at the jury, all of us were very uncomfortable. She would answer one question and she would be crying, and 2 seconds later she would turn ice cold. Some of us use the expression crocodile tears.
I didn't think he knew what he was doing.
That's how you know that's probably right. Because if it's the older dude who's, how old is he, Sarah? In his late 50s or early 60s?
Yeah, I think so.
So crocodile tears is an older person's. It's not a young person's term.
Well, they're in the jury room. A lot of people were saying that apparently.
Yeah. And again, this is someone who's divulging, I don't even know how, a rape from your own husband, which is bizarre. And I've never even heard of that until this. You can't rape your wife.
Stop. Yes, you can. Stop.
You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. And so we're sitting here and we're not taking it serious. I've never in my life heard someone go into a harangue like that and not take it serious. Like, you just have no emotion. You're not feeling it. You're not even tapped in. You're not. She does nothing to your sense of sympathy or sometimes even empathy. I've never once checked out in my life to this extent on an of an accusation and a divulging of a rape like this. It's crazy. How about you?
It's not. You can tell though. It's not valid just by like the
But we're
head
laughing.
bobbing, and the over weeping and the dry cheeks. And I know those waterbed mattresses are absorbent in her cheeks, but they're not sucking up all the tears out of the tear ducts. So
Kevin Cowie asked you,
she's at
Sarah,
a
if
point. No, hold on. She's at a point where she's in full on sob, and there's nothing happening in the eyes. You still see the white in the eyes. Like me, everybody's
do you
different,
think
but
it would have mattered if she had waterworks? Do you really think it would have made a
Yes, I
difference?
do.
I don't. I don't.
I do.
I still don't think we would buy it.
The problem is too, though, she can't. If she had just kept it simple, like he hit me, he hit me 3 times, she would have won. But her personality disorder makes her have to go to an 11 when she could have kept it at 3 and won this case.
I scanned through this before. He's basically describing exactly how she lost. Like he thinks she could have won easily, the way he frames this. So if Charlie Rose dropped his robe in front of you, Sarah, would you just punch him in the face?
I gotta
Or
be reminded what Charlie Rose looks like.
he kind of looks like Dr. Speigel with hair and less of a jaw.
No, I don't punch people, so I'd probably just leave.
With Brown, my nephew was a busboy very briefly at a restaurant in Bellport, and Charlie Rose lives in South Bellport. Is a classic wrong side, right side of the track. So over here you have Isabella Rossellini and Charlie Rose, and then you cross the tracks and you have the Bloods and the Crips.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the craziest town. And Charlie Rose used to come in there, and his move was he'd have the New York Times, and he would just leave it. You know how big that paper is, individually strewn around, thrown around all over the table, and just leave it for him to clean up. It wasn't the food as much; it was just a newspaper thrown everywhere, just individually taken out on the table. It just, he was kind of a dick too. This is before the allegations.
I don't know how.
She should have tears. There should be a tear there.
On Depp's side, a lot of the jury felt what he was saying at the end of the day was more believable.
Yep.
He just seemed a little more real in terms of how he was responding to questions. His emotional state was very stable throughout.
It could begin with, throwing a TV remote at my head. It could be...
Sarah, Marta brings up a really good point here. What's up? What do you think she's had done?
The cheeks and her makeup is awful.
Botox, nose
I was looking
job.
at old video of her today where they're on the red carpet together. She had times, I've never really thought she was overly attractive, but she's had times where she's beautiful, like when she's made up properly and the hair is back.
Yeah.
On some of those red carpet appearances, she's beautiful.
You could almost see how the pussy fog started during the Rum Diaries.
Yeah. But now in this interview, like the eyebrows are a mess. I know you don't pay attention to that.
I don't look at eyebrows. Guys
They're
don't look at eyebrows.
too thick in the middle and they're squared off. And whoever Elon Musk paid to do those eyebrows needs to be fired, and they need to refund him back his money.
You were the biggest eyebrow Nazi I've ever heard. I swear, I don't even know they exist. I don't think I've ever noticed eyebrows on anybody.
Somebody didn't have them or they were fucked up.
I heard you shave your forehead. Is that true?
If you put a cigar in her mouth, she could be Groucho Marx with these new eyebrows.
So she's had Botox, and you said 2 nose jobs, you think?
She's had a lot of Botox in her forehead and around her eyes. That's what the bruises were that the doctor saw allegedly, because they were like little dot bruises. Like the injection marks.
Yeah, she's side by side is unrecognizable.
She has had a nose job. She's had 1 nose job. That's probably what the scar tissue is from, and the truckloads of cocaine she's vacuumed up.
Yep.
And then the cheek implants that that they contour horribly.
I'm telling you, it grosses me out to think of the concept of cheek implants.
I know.
I'm getting like nauseous thinking about it.
And
That's
can you
so
sleep?
Gross.
I
don't
think
know.
I look at
I don't
those
know.
like you get butt implants. Are you afraid that they're going to pop when you sit down?
It's so weird. God damn it. It's so disgusting.
I'm a side sleeper. I can't imagine worrying about my cheek implant busting in my face.
What does that cartoon cat of yours do during the side sleep?
I took a picture. I wish I could post it here in the chat.
I'm not even a cat person. That is a that is a cartoon cat. That is a cool looking cat. I don't know if it's the silver color or something, or it looks like Panthro from the Thundercats.
She's
That
not
is a
even.
cute cat, and I
She's a
don't
very
even.
awkward, gangly little girl, but she's just so sweet and she's so clingy. I just love her to death.
She just
She loves her mommy.
she only knows you and nothing else.
That's all she needs to know.
It's Camille. It's almost Camille. That's the two. A very charismatic cartoon cat too, like Camille Vasquez. Catskez.
Throwing a glass of wine in my face.
The juror said the revelation hurt.
I'm sorry to pause so quickly, guys. Arnold, you're absolutely right, and it's too. And I'm saying this all the time. This is Disney, right? Disney fired Depp.
The problem with this video, they're keeping things out. That's why I wanted to read the article.
Yeah, so keep in mind, Arnold's absolutely right. So when you take this with a grain of salt, because this is a Disney owns ABC, Disney owns ESPN, Disney owns. So like when you watch The View, and they give you this fucking namby-pamby on the fence or pro Amber opinion, it's because Disney owns The View and Disney fired Depp. Don't ever think there's something genuine coming from that.
Had not donated her $7 million divorce settlement to charity was a fiasco for her.
You still haven't donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity.
Incorrect. I pledged the entirety. I use pledge and donation synonymous with one another.
She goes on a talk show in the UK. The video shows her sitting there telling the host that she gave all that money away. And the terms she used in that video clip were, I gave it away. I donated it. It's gone. But the fact is, she didn't give much of it away at all. He also disputed Heard's attorney's claim the jury was influenced by social media, saying, we followed the evidence. Myself and at least 2 other jurors don't use Twitter or Facebook. Others who had it made a point not to talk about it. He said, ultimately, what I think is truthful was that they were both abusive to each other. I don't think that makes either of them right or wrong.
That's pretty strong right there. So he's basically saying, this is an honest guy. He's accusing Depp of abuse. He's saying,
that's the problem that they're leaving out. He goes on to explain this comment.
No, I think he's saying there's slightly coming. He said, and again, what is abuse? Who the hell knows? It's whatever you want it to be. It's the most ambiguous word in the world. But again, and we said this when Ben Chew, when Ben Chew did his. He examined what would you say, Sarah? Just once really intensely. It wasn't like he did a few, but really he did a closing statement. But Ben Chew's thing was he went after the ACLU stuff and the donations and the not pledge and a donation, and he really got. You saw Chew at his finest when he went after the $7 million stuff, which is what the juror says. That's exactly what sunk her. And we predicted that early on. That was going to do her in, if anything would. And we were right. We stayed on that the whole time.
Yep.
Crazy Robin says it's reflective because it's a ton of crap and lies. By the way, no tears, and then you could just shut it off and move into sarcasm and anger, right? That's exactly. How do you go from sarcasm right from crying? You don't, right? You don't just segue into sarcasm.
No.
I know you love sarcasm more than anybody does, but could you just go into sarcasm right after
No,
crying?
but she's up there sobbing, and then Camille would object, and then her face would just relax.
Was that they were both abusive to each other. I don't think that makes either of them right or wrong. But to rise to the level of what she was claiming, there wasn't enough or any evidence that really supported what she was saying.
The weird thing is, Arnold, Stephanopoulos used to work for Clinton, and now it's obviously Disney and ABC. So did Savannah Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie, husband, also worked for the Clinton administration, and then worked for the Gore campaign, which is crazy. It's all tied in. It's really crazy what a effing small world this is, and they're all lawyers. They all know each other, and.
He added that he believed Johnny did not hit Amber. And he also revealed the jury was given no guidance on the amount of money.
Just because it's not hit, abuse is not just hit, Sarah. You can abuse could be anything. It's whatever
No,
she
and
wants
that's
it to be.
the mutual part of it. I don't have to read it, but what he said was his part basically in the mutual abuse was getting angry at her during fights. But then the juror goes on to say, but that's what you do when you fight. You yell at
That's
somebody.
exactly right. The jury could just go, that's not abuse.
So they
That's
leave
not.
that exactly. So they left that out of this video. That's probably the main thing that bothered me about this
You're on the
video.
jury and you're hearing that and you've had like a rough life. Let's say you've had a really, and Amber Heard's mom had a pretty rough life. And you're just listening to this and you just go, I'm not even saying it to her, but just someone who's just had legitimate a shitty life and have been abused in every way, just not dealt a good genetic hand, never got that job based on feminine wiles, just never had opportunities, bad family life, whatever. And you're in the jury and you listen to this, you go, that's abuse? What? You're living in 5 penthouses and you're going to Australia whenever you feel like it. You could work. You don't have to even work. You have this. I don't you dare use the word abuse in my presence. And that could be what half of them are thinking.
Yeah. Now with her too, I want to touch on this quickly before we get to the NBC, the Today Show interview. Today, the big reveal Friday night is going to be she's releasing this notebook full of notes from her therapist. They go back to 2011 where she's telling them stories of like he threw her against a wall and all that. The only thing I have to say, if they're not forged, then all it shows me is she has been plotting this since 2011.
Good point.
I'm still convinced that she's either using somebody else's stories or she's switching parts in this where she pushed him up against a wall. So she told the therapist he pushed her up against a wall. I still completely buy. And if he got in her face to yell at her after she's, railing on him with her fists, good for him. And her Dr. Hughes was going on and on about reactive violence is okay. If he pushed her, in other words, after she punched him in the face, I don't find that abusive.
Yeah. A lot of people wouldn't. What happened to you might be worse if you're in that jury. You might have experiences that usurp that. Gina Bobina has a great way to put this. It's like saying her pauses are too cinematic.
Yeah,
that's a
exactly
perfect
right.
way to put that. That's exactly how you can't have cinematic pauses on that. She doesn't know subtlety. Cinematic pauses. That's so well said, Gina.
That both stars were awarded. He said each juror threw out a number that
Crazy Robin. It's simple. You're either crying or you're not. It is that simple. It is.
They thought was fair. And notably about the attorneys, he said he thought Depp's team was sharp while Heard's team had sharp elbows, meaning they were abrupt. They frequently interrupted. Now, Heard, of course, does plan to appeal this, and Depp is about to be back in court with these same lawyers for a separate case. He's accused of assaulting a manager on a movie set back in 2017. Guys.
Okay, Trevor, thanks. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. And Dan, I guess it's common sense the jurors found Depp more credible?
Yeah, I always find these jury interviews to be fascinating after a case, to know exactly what they were thinking about all the evidence that was presented here. And it's not just that they found Depp more credible.
It was not an Asian restaurant, A. Smith. My Vietnamese nephew was not. It's not Peter. It's his brother, his older brother, who did that. I don't know how you remember that. I think you remember it because he has the same last name as Aoki in Gwen, his real Vietnamese last name. I think that's why you remember that. That's amazing memory you have, even with all that George Young, Arizona drug haze you have.
It's the little nuances, right? It's the little things that bug them about it.
Don't tell Charlie Rose what it's like to be punched.
Brendan. I don't know what the motion of my hand was.
You can't deck me. You can't deck me. Watch that wide load, yo.
Amber Heard. And I think that's so important. People forget that it really can come down to the credibility of the person testifying. We always say in criminal cases, for example, if a defendant takes the witness stand, the case could come down to the credibility of that witness. And it's true. And it's not just what they're saying, it's how they're saying it. And I think that that's part of what's super interesting.
Being overcoached?
Yes. And remember, we talked about this on the show. I said there's a danger if she's looking at the jurors too much. That could be a problem. It can seem like she's acting, like it's over-rehearsed.
What do you think about what David's a gay man, a gay 85-year-old man. The deposition where Amber's eating, I thought she looked good there. What do you think about that?
That's the height of her coke addiction. That's why she's so skinny.
But she kind of looks natural. I know what he means. I know what he means there. She looks very. There's not a ton of makeup.
I'm not a fan of her with the stick straight hair.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We just hate everything she does.
She's
the bottom line,
and I don't like her.
It's just nothing she could do.
She could look like Brooke Shields in 1983 and be Amber Heard on the inside, and I would still want her to be in jail.
That's a cry. Melvin goes, you should be crying like Sean Penn in Mystic River. That's so funny.
Oh God,
that's the trailer, right?
You talk about a movie that you just want to like blow your head off after you walk out of the theater.
That's some cast in that movie. He won the Academy Award over Depp's Jack Sparrow for that. And Bill Murray won the Golden Globe and Depp won the SAG Award. I think the SAG Award is the best award. All your peers voting, that's the one I want. That should be way more honored. She had classic beauty in Rum Diaries, and now she looks like a mannequin. Yes, Marta. Well said. Perfectly said. Agreed. Man, And we can build this dream together. Nothing's gonna stop us now. I love how you imitate that video.
Mm-hmm.
You love again Jefferson Starship, don't you?
No.
You do.
No.
You insisted on that ending.
I do have Grace.
Sarah for ARM. This is Sarah saying no time is a good time for goodbye.
I do have Grace Slick's autobiography and
why do you really?
Yes, the chapter where she fucks Jim Morrison. My God. Anyway.
Oh my God, that's a real. She's a Bellport 4. This is Hooper, but a Shirley 9. Long Island. What about Bob Levy? Bob Levy looks like a Shoreham Wading River volunteer fireman.
Because yes, a lawyer will tell a client, try and make sure you look over at the jury, make sure that you recognize them. But I thought she was doing it too much. Every question she was asked, she would literally.
Sarah, did you stop me?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. I thought, her talking, it sounded like you saying stop. You remind me of her.
I know. I'm sorry. I got it's a horrible picture on Twitter. I just happened to scroll through of a dog. Anyway, keep going.
She would pause, she would turn over to the jury, and she'd begin her answer. And it's clear that at least this juror felt that was rehearsed.
You said some things about her bugged the juror, but also...
That is a handsome black... He went to the Lank Thompson, I'm a handsome black man school, where you have to have that brogue, that kind of... That base kind of... It's... who he wants... He's almost like Brian Gumbel and Mario Van Peebles at a kid. Mario Van Peebles, one of the directors of 21 Jump Street season 3 and season 4.
It seems her legal team bugged them as well.
Yeah, and look, you got to wonder whether those two things are intertwined, right? That once they've decided against them, but the lawyering can matter. And it's a reminder, it's not just the defendant. It's not just the witness.
Crazy Robinson, more fillers than the Howard Stern show. What about that, Sarah? You know more about that than I do. Fillers in the face.
I'm not good with fillers versus Botox, so all I can speak to is she's got a lot of Botox.
Okay.
Like that Miley Cyrus squint face she was making the entire time. The forehead never moved.
How about jaw work, as Marta suggests?
I don't know, but yeah, I'm not good. I'm not good with the.
I thought this is your thing, plastic surgery and
I can see the
chemical peels. How about chemical peels?
Tim Legler had a chemical peel. Is that what you're alluding to?
Legs. Everybody know who Tim Legler is?
Howard
the ESPN
Stern has
analyst?
had chemical peels.
Oh God, yeah. That's the theory that's why he needed to when he went to Sirius, all the vacation. It's all about obviously doing as little live radio as possible, and it's all about vanity and plastic surgery and getting as much time off to heal from hair plugs and chemical peels and plastic surgery. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Witnesses, how the lawyers perform can end up either frustrating the jurors, impressing the jurors. I'm not saying it's going to be make or break, but it's a combination of those little things that can make all the difference in a case like this.
As you say, it's fascinating to hear what was going on. And
this is your area of expertise, as Crazy Robin points out. So look, she's got housewife face, is what she's saying.
Yeah, I can see that.
All the housewives.
Teresa Giudice, your favorite. She had a lot of work done recently in the last maybe 2 seasons. She was never a raving beauty before, but you look at her now and you appreciate what she was before. She had like a beautiful smile before. Now
Right.
her lips are so blown up and her face is frozen and she's just a mess. But this broad on the screen is blonde. This is the one who got caught on the hot mic and the hot camera
I didn't know that. Really?
talking about Epstein, how she had the
Huh.
story and the network wouldn't let her go forward with it.
Can you find that anywhere, or has it
I
been
don't know.
eradicated
I
from?
don't remember her name, but it's all over YouTube.
Huh. That's crazy. I vaguely remember that.
That jury deliberation room. Did anything this juror say?
What?
Play it this weekend. I'll find it.
What for the other? Well, I mean, it's not. All right. Who cares?
Whatever,
If it's
I
not
don't care,
related to
whatever.
Surprise you?
No.
Just, I guess it was how
Well, it is because we're going to do Deppstein Island, so I guess that's how you combine the two.
how much they were focusing on the nuances of Amber Heard. Because I was really interested to hear after the fact, what did they think about her? And listen, this juror saying we thought they were both at fault, right? Because that's how I think a lot of us felt, right? That they both were in this horrible, relationship that was really a problem. But the final point there being, but we didn't believe the allegations that Amber Heard made, and that was the determining factor.
Johnny Depp now facing an assault case, bringing back Camille Vasquez.
That's Disney's way of making sure, it's not over yet. Depp
Yeah.
could still be.
See, he's still abusive.
Yeah. So everybody knows this. I'm not going to assume everybody knows. Treat every show like someone's listening for the first time. So Depp has an ongoing case. And by the way, Crazy Robin, I owe you City of Lies. I have it all formatted as well in the perfect MP4 where you can move it. And this goes for anybody. You can move it over to a flash drive and play it on your USB port into your television because it's the format. I took it off the MKV, and I don't want to get too Jeff Schick on you, but so City of Lies, the movie, I love this movie. I think it's the best movie Depp's done in 10 years, at least 10 years. It is about the notorious B.I.G. and Tupac murders. He plays Russell Poole, who I believe is based on his security head, Sean Bett, who's former LAPD. And it's kind of flashes back to the 90s and back, and it dissects those murders and the conspiracies behind it. I really, really love this movie. On the set, again, everything's Rocky. There's always Rocky.
Oh, I want to give you an update. You want that
Greg
update on
Rocky,
Rocky?
but sure.
Okay. So Rocky Pennington, the raven-haired leech that lived in Penthouse 1.
Dead Eyes, one of the dead-eyed.
Yeah, she was
Coachella
on a video
grifters.
deposition. Anyway, she talked about, she was the one that was there with Amber Heard on the
Right.
May 21st incident where he threw the phone allegedly at her face. Anyway, she is now, since she's been kicked out of the penthouse, she is now living with her bodyguard boyfriend, the one she cheated with on Josh Drew.
Josh Drew, yeah, right.
He looks like Adebisi, I got to tell you.
Oh, okay, from
Anyway.
Oz?
Yeah, without the beanie hat. But she's living in a studio apartment, probably the size of my living room with him, and her only income is selling beads on like what Etsy or whatever.
Yeah.
So she is now living in the gutter as she should.
I got a nickname for a boyfriend.
Oh God.
Adebisi.
Oh Jesus Christ! I'm dead.
Classic arm, right?
My spine cringed so hard. I am now a quadriplegic.
Hey, Shiranja, why don't you get me my Palm Pilot, man?
Oh.
So Rocky Brooks is the location manager on City of Lies, and I guess he looks for Crazy Robin knows this terrain very well. This is all LA and Southern California where they shot this movie, and location. You're looking for places to shoot, and so his job, I guess, also was he would clear out civilians, and they had extras, and I guess a homeless woman was milling around, and he was rude to her. And as we know about Depp, he loves to defend the little guy. He really has a fierce dedication to defending the little guy and the disadvantage. You can see it's very consistent with his behavior from what you people know about him from the trial. I mean, we've known this all along. And he said you can't speak to her like that. This again, back then, for about 4 or 5 years, there have been rumors floated like there were Sedan stories leaked out, and you go, oh, this is just bullshit. Oh God, this is like Mike Walker, National Enquirer bullshit. All these stories were true. And a lot of these stories were leaked by Whitney Hurd and I.O. Tillett. They were leaking these stories, and this stuff all ended up being, every time there was one of these little things we would read, it all ended up being true. And I'm like, there's no way that's real. And this is one of the stories. And apparently he got into a fist fight with this guy on set, and the guy ended up they patched it up, and they have a picture of drinking wine with each other. And the guy said, and I'm sure a lawyer said, look, this is a gold mine. This guy's worth $650 million. You're really going to let this go? And so he came back at him again. And there's no, I mean, the director's defending Depp.
Everybody is.
Everybody is.
The only guy that's countering Depp's story is the guy suing him.
And Camille is back on the case again, Melvin. I don't think it's maybe it is televised. That's what Depp should do. Televise everything he does. His charisma will win the right. If you get, why not just mimic what you just did to televise it? Ask the judge to televise it. Right? Do it
I
again.
would assume this one should be over within a week.
I don't think he should settle. I think this guy should. I would be worse. I would have suplexed this guy if I saw this. I would have been worse. I don't think he should settle anything. I am not judging, because I would have been worse. He can't. This guy can't. I want this guy to be smeared. I want this guy to get the Dr. Speigel treatment. I tried to find him. He's not on social media at all. Gregg, 2 fucking G's at the end of this. Greg Brooks. Greg Rocky Brooks. He's white too. It sounds like a black name. I didn't think he was. Why would a black guy yell at a? There's no way he would turn on his own. I knew it had to be a white guy, but the name sounds. I thought it was black, and it's not. I'm glad he's not black. I'm glad he's a white trash.
Greg Brooks sounds like a black name to you?
2G. Yeah, doesn't it? Greg Brooks.
No.
Definitely.
Relationship between the two trials?
I don't really think so. Those who think it helps him that he won this case, that means he could win this case, I don't think that's the case. I think it's a very different kind of trial. We shall see. And it shows you how much faith he has in his lawyer.
Yeah. Okay, Dan Anders, thanks very much.
Let's get into turd.
So the jury thinks that's the consensus. He's basically speaking for and I'm sure maybe this opens the floodgates for the other jurors to start speaking out what they think. But it sounds like he's speaking for all of them. It's all one big club, the Sunflower Dragon, and we're not in it. Bad news, Brown. We don't consider that abuse. All right. So here we go. This is the interview. That's a buzz.
Keep your finger on the pause button.
It's only half.
No,
of it.
it's the whole thing.
No, isn't it an hour tomorrow on Friday night?
Yes, but so far all that's been released is what we're going to see.
That's what I'm saying. So the full interview is tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then so half of it has not been released, or is it
more than half?
More than half. More.
I'm sure the commercials too will be ridiculously ridiculous.
So I screen recorded this, so I avoided their stupid watermarks.
Did you?
No, I'm sorry. This is yours. No, this is yours. No,
okay.
I didn't. This is yours. This is all you.
Okay.
This one's you.
And with your exclusive interview with Amber Heard.
Yeah, that's right. The
guy on the left is Craig Melvin. He used to host an MSNBC show at 11 in the morning, and now he just does the morning show. I don't know why. I mean, he's like, he could easily be the next Brian Gumbel.
Yep. Hold on. Tiger Lily. Yep. We just talked about that. The therapist notes are from starting in 2011. I think they're either forged or just proof that she's been plotting this that long. Because all they do in therapist notes, they write down what you tell them. You there?
Yeah, Amber Heard's first interview since that high-profile defamation trial and its stunning verdict largely in favor of her ex-husband, Johnny Depp. We spoke about what happened in that courtroom and how she feels about all of it now.
It's been about more than a week since the verdict.
Wow.
As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in?
Dramatic pause.
How could it? It's surreal and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming.
Do you stand by
Yeah, it has been.
your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse?
Sarah, let me take this out. Let me take this out and put it back in.
Okay.
What Do you have this on like 4K or something?
No, I don't.
It's running really slow. Does that change anything? Hold on a second. Let me put it back in. I couldn't, like, I was posting comments and they were just kind of like barely there.
Just wait until it's over and we'll catch up on comments.
No, I know. I'm just worried about playing this.
Savannah, with your exclusive interview with Amber Heard.
Yeah, that's right. This is Amber Heard's first interview since that high-profile defamation trial and its stunning verdict largely in favor of her ex-husband, Johnny Depp. We spoke about what happened in that courtroom and how she feels about all of it now.
Get rid of the banner if you have to.
It's been about more than a week since the verdict. As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in?
How could it? It's surreal and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming.
Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse?
Of course. To my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
The real-life drama of the defamation case between Amber Heard and her ex-husband, Johnny Depp, captivated millions of people around the world.
Amber Heard just got exposed.
Johnny, you hit me.
Yeah, Sarah.
This is so
What?
You got it on 4K.
Okay, great.
I just looked up it's not going to run as smooth as if it was like 720.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, it might be clunky for this. The computer might not be capable of running 4K. I don't know. I can try to, no, I don't know if I could do that. I could turn it into 720 and then replay it, and maybe we can play something else and take this back, continue this Saturday. I don't think it's gonna, unless you want to go fight through it like this. It's gonna dominate the whole stream, the 4K.
Then go to YouTube and see if you can find the video.
Okay. Did you reformat this?
No.
Don't worry about you getting like, offended. Like, don't worry about it.
I'm not offended.
Just a simple. And it's gonna say Savannah Guthrie, Amber Heard.
Mm-hmm.
What's the full thing? Shit. It's broken up into 8-minute pieces.
They're about that long. Is there a date in the title?
I hate when people fiddle around. A juror speaks out. Amber Heard's first time. Let's go to Good Morning. It's not Good Morning America. It's Savannah. So let's just do the 8. Okay, let's just do straight through the. Let's do the basic one, and then we'll come back to this. Let's do the 8-minute one.
Get rid of this from the whole StreamYard.
Okay, it's the 4K. Can't support it.
Okay.
You didn't know that. How are you supposed to know? Okay, Chrome tab, play it. Here we go. Can you see this?
About more than a week since the verdict.
Do I have to full screen it or
sit
not?
here with me now, has it sunk in?
How could it? It's surreal and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming.
Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny?
Sarah, what was the tweet you had today about how she, like Howard, she's only as good as her last conversation. So she's trying to repeat big words in the last conversation she heard and just trying way too hard to sound smart. And it's just in every,
That's
it just
the gist
reeks.
of it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you tweeted something about that today.
I have too many tweets today, too.
Johnny Depp about abuse.
Of course. To my dying day, will will stand by every word of my testimony. I think vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think that this trial is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok, and the jury.
David, are you serious? Did Joe Buck request nothing's going to stop us now at Troy Aikman's wedding? I know you played Troy. Are you kidding me? That is the funniest thing I ever heard. No pun intended. That's so funny. And I believe that's true. Oh, that's crazy. Now I'm distracted.
Jury is not immune to that.
You think the jury saw it?
How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this. Every single
She's
day,
Miley
I
Cyrus
passed
squint face, says Melvin.
for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, burn the witch, death to Amber. After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal, energized.
Were they dressed as pirates?
How that.
Go ahead, Sarah. What?
Were they dressed as pirates?
Well, I realized too with the bulk of this interview, the reference with Depp for the humanoids to the most prosaic, basic references. You have to bring up Edward Scissorhands, and you have to bring up pirates. So you can't get too obscure. So she comes in here armed with, I'm gonna make a movie reference, but it can't be Dead Man. It can't even be Ed Wood. It can't be Nick of Time. It's gonna have to be Pirates or Edward Scissorhands, because that's what that's what your mom knows. So that's what she's gonna go to, and no matter how she's gonna crowbar it in, and you'll hear that everyone's obsessed over the Edward Scissorhands comment. It's just that's her just playing to the humanoid. It's not like it's
Well, every line in this is way too rehearsed.
Felt.
Yeah, of course.
This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have
the
never
bottle rape?
felt more removed from my own humanity.
Oh.
Melvin says it's Amy Robach complains of the ABC News quashed her interview with Jeffrey Epstein, accuser, suggesting network silenced her as much as ARM loves Depp. I love the. Yeah, I definitely followed the Epstein stuff too, Melvin. It's crazy shit. It truly is. I definitely know more. I'm probably above average. I definitely think you're right. It's insane. Some of the unexplainable stuff, inexplicable stuff. Lauren Marie, welcome. Always great to see you.
I felt less than human.
Let's go back to the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident?
God.
That's a great question.
Oh, she's painful.
I wish I could say yes to that.
Oh, that snarl smile.
I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't tell me, look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. There was another trial handled in.
Her logic is crazy. Where is it written that there has to be fair representation? That's just an insane, not just egomaniac, but delusional idiot that thinks, why would social media care what fair nothing's fair on social media. When is it ever? Is there some social media socialism police that makes stuff fair? What does it even mean?
If you're lying about abuse, you're mocking people that have actually been abused. Yes, it would be fair in that case. Most of the planet thinks that's what you're doing. They are going easy on you. You should have criminal charges against you. So don't bitch about fairness on social media.
And the jury's not gonna. You're not going to manipulate their minds. They're not going to read. She has no idea what they're looking at. But again, I say this.
They're throwing everything out for an appeal.
But
half of this shit she doesn't even mean.
But also, Does this surprise? I mean, she's obviously getting destroyed, and does this surprise anybody? Does it? Do you expect anything better from her? Of course, you think she's going to sit there and go, "Yes, he was right. I lied. Yes, 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 yes. I tried. I did the best I could. I know the power." Of course, she's going to put up. Do you really think she's gonna capitulate to this? I mean, what do you expect from her? Like, we love this. It gives us material. We can pile on her some more. This is if I think we'd be more pissed if she decided to go, yeah, he's right. I set the whole thing up. This is all a big hoax. I planned this all the way back in 2011. Do you expect anything better from her? Honestly, we like this.
I think the only
We
purpose
want
of
her to look shitty.
hmm
Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
the only purpose of this interview is for people in Hollywood to see it, producers to see it,
Yes.
so that she can get some kind of role.
But the fucked up thing is,
She
Savannah
can play on
Guthrie
their
is
wokeness.
Savannah Guthrie is related to um as Michael Feldman, who worked on the Depp team
She's married to him.
and married to him. So she agrees to do an interview with Savannah Guthrie, which is they have to know that affiliation, and she doesn't care.
She's been so spoiled by mainstream media these last 6 years that she probably just went into this expecting her hand to be held and her brow dabbed the entire time. She's probably not happy with the questions that she was asked. You can see it when she snarls her nose up through most of these questions before she answers.
Michael Feldman is her husband, and basically his profile says he's an American public relations and communications consultant and former Democratic political advisor. Feldman was Vice President Gore's traveling chief of staff during the 2000 presidential election campaign. He's a founding partner and managing director at the Glover Park Group, a communications consulting advocacy firm. So he apparently was handling all the PR and researching a lot of the Depp stuff and he's knee deep in it, I guess, all these years, and she's married to him. And she's conducting this interview. It's the strangest, crazy, interwoven small world in this situation. It really is insane. It keeps surprising me over and over again.
Dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in fact, my evidence was largely kept out. Really important pieces of evidence kept out.
The evidence she's talking about are the hearsay therapist notes, the alleged communication between her and people that are dead that can't come in America. What else? The UK trial was just a hodgepodge of shit that was allowed in. She's mad because people took these audio tapes seriously when the judge in the UK said, well, she wasn't under oath at the time, so these don't have much weight. He also said she never could have thrown that can of Red Bull because she was in her pajamas. What the fuck? This trial was fair. If she wants to bitch about evidence not coming in, she needs to consider what didn't come in for him, like the Australia audio, where you would know within 2 seconds that she cut his finger off.
Well, she's gonna push back and deny this and play to her dying day. There's no she's not going to come around and get to our way of thinking. We love this. We want her to keep doing this. Do you want her to go away? I don't know if I'm not getting tired of it. I'm not.
I'm almost.
How
I'm at like 97 out of 100.
I don't believe you are. I think you love her embarrassing
She
yourself.
infuriates
I don't
me.
believe you.
I
I
don't
believe
need her
you
in
like
my
her
life.
embarrassed. I don't believe you. I think you love her embarrassing herself. You were so into you love this so much you did it in 4K.
Is it just me? Look at those boomerang eyebrows. I'm so sorry to keep going back to that. They're so distracting to me.
You and the
I could
eyebrows.
do a better job.
You and the it's you and the
When they
eyebrows.
zoom in on her, the eyebrow pencil they use isn't even the same color. You can see where they filled them in. It's pitiful.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we're gonna have to stay away from 4K in the future, guys. All right. You're right.
done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
Some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US court. Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
I will say his lawyers did certainly a better job of distracting the jury from the real issues.
For some people, they just were frankly disgusted by the
Now her thing is now she's throwing her legal team under the bus all the time. And you chose them and you're running the show.
Well,
Apparently
not
from everything I
necessarily.
know. Well, I mean, it's what they could afford. It's whether it's Musk
That's
doing it, whether it's
that's what
ACLU
her
or
homeowners and policy paid for.
or the
They hired Elaine.
is it officially the homeowners or you
It's
heard
pretty
that somewhere?
much, yeah. Liberty
Who'd you hear this
Mutual.
from? Who'd you hear it from?
I don't remember. There's so many news sources for this stuff,
But
but
it
it
could
makes
be
sense.
them, it could be the ACLU, or it could be Musk. So it's one of the three that she ain't paying for herself. And then she had the what is it, $30,000 a week? The house?
22,000.
That's the
That's
number?
just for the house rental.
Okay. And you know she ain't paying for that.
Mm-hmm. This one thing to look out for too, especially Friday night or tomorrow night, whenever they show photos of her and her baby, they had to pay her a licensing fee for those photos. The word on the street is she was paid $1 million for this interview by NBC.
Oh wow, I was gonna ask you that.
And that private plane story where she was seen on, that was NBC sending her the plane to get her to this interview.
How much you think she could have negotiated this for?
I don't know. I don't know that I would have. That's again, who cares who's interviewing you? You're getting $1 million.
What was a
Especially
similar
when you need
story
it.
to this about an interview in the last few years where somebody finally came around? God, it was a salacious story, and someone got, I can't remember what it was. It was like this, and they there was like a rumor that it was like $5 million, or where you just that person you want to hear from, they come out of nowhere like, oh, I'll do it. So you knew you knew it wasn't on the, it ain't free. I actually wrote that down to ask you what the money was for this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, oh my God. I wonder if she got paid for one lump sum or the Friday night version versus.
I imagine she just got it immediately. She's not gonna, or they donated it or pledged it, whatever.
Okay, so David says Joe Buck was trying to be like ironic, like I'm like fake nerd, like look at it, I'm I'm too cool.
I'm not
for
ready yet
Jefferson
for Joe Buck
Scholarship.
in my life, so let's take a look on Joe Buck.
How great is that David played his wedding? I mean, Aikman's wedding.
Whole thing. And don't have much sympathy for either one.
By the way, Aaron Andrews was at the wedding too, and David looked at her in a peephole in the bed, and David's gay, which is great. In the hotel upstairs.
Of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is Hollywood brats at their.
She's calling people stupid. The normal person stupid.
Of course.
We're all stupid. I'm so glad that juror came out and said what he said.
Is that it?
Yes, I'm done.
At their worst. But what people don't understand is it's actually so much bigger than that.
Oh.
This is not only a
the trial. She's right. The trial is much bigger than that. There's so many elements, and what's big about it is it's exposing the likes of you. What's big about it is it's shining the light on vetting signs of ruining someone's life. There's a lot going on here. It's also exposing that you don't know how to pick a legal team. I think that's another great lesson.
She comments on that later.
Of her not having any,
her
being
legal
forced
team.
this legal team. Yeah. Well, she's
Yeah.
going to throw because nothing is ever her fault.
No, and
It
that's
couldn't
her.
possibly
That's her
be,
disorder.
You're an actress and you can't even do what you're supposed to be born to do. This is your thing, your main occupation, your modus operandi. You're an actress. It's the very best thing you supposedly do. You're a professional actress, and you can't convince anybody in that courtroom that you're telling the truth. It's the complete antithesis of everything you're supposedly trained in. And
Yeah,
that's what kills her the most.
The women on the jury you can't convince. That's
Not even the women.
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that they brought in Camille Vasquez, who is a peer of yours, who's an attractive woman in the same age range, to diffuse you because she doesn't believe you. And that's telling the world, look, this woman who is attractive and is in your age range, she doesn't believe you. If she doesn't believe you, who does?
Mm-hmm.
About our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech. It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation. And that was the issue in the case.
Yes, exactly. You can't go into the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding.
She's so fucking stupid.
Go ahead. You told me to pause it.
Okay. You can go into a theater and yell fire if it's a part of a performance, if you're on stage in a play and you scream fire, you can do that.
Why is that the example they use?
Because they misinterpret that line.
I'm so tired of that line. I'm so tired of that.
She heard someone say it once.
Yes, it's the most overused fucking way of freedom of speech I've ever heard.
So it doesn't. Oh, she's gonna get into it. I don't want to spoil it. But
by the way, why aren't there headphone jacks? I'll go as far as in movie theaters, so you don't have to hear popcorn munching. Why isn't that a reality that you don't have some kind of Bluetooth optional headphone jack in a movie theater that you could slap on headphone? Why is that not a reality by now? I don't understand why they don't have that. I can't. It makes me not want to go. I hate listening and the whispering and the popcorn. And I have that esophemia, whatever that you have with that popcorn sound. I can't stand it. And
but if you go into a theater, you can scream fire all you want. But if you kill somebody and they get trampled running for the exit, you're going to face the consequences of that.
Yep. Oh, freedom of speech. It's like the Vinny Favale argument we had. David brought up.
Yeah.
It has freedom of speech has consequences. You can be fired if private. You're working for someone. They can decide they don't like your speech and fire you. It doesn't mean you're in a private. You can say what you want, but be prepared for the consequences in a professional setting. You don't have to like it.
When you write an op-ed about your ex-husband abusing you, and we saw the drafts and the testimony, you wanted to name him, and they had to stop you from using his name, but now it's not about him. If he can gather up enough proof to show that you're lying, he's going to sue you for defamation and get $15 million out of you. So say what you want, but if anybody can find a reason to nail your ass to the wall on it, they're going to do it.
Thank you, Andrew Morgan. Welcome, sir. We missed you here. Hooper, as long as we can drink beer and make syrup, you'll have to make Canada's fucking Canada.
Understanding of what that means is not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
She's so fucking stupid.
The truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke.
How about
and
the
I
hair?
spoke it to
how about
power,
the hair?
and I paid the price.
How about the hair extensions? Tiger Lily comments wants your opinion on the hair extensions.
I know there's a big chunk behind her bangs when she leans forward because she can't help herself. When she leans forward in the soap opera dramatic pauses, you can see like a hair extension chunk.
She spoke to power. To power. Is it power or charisma you're speaking to? Power's been taken down all over the place. The Me Too movement is massive. Power has been brought down all around.
Yeah, I don't know
us.
you can use power anymore as your
I don't think you can either. She loves spouting cliches.
She is obsessed with this man, and she wanted to just remind him she was here still.
Yes, I wish the media would stop saying our lawyers are bad. It just feeds her delusion that it wasn't her fault.
No,
That's a great point, Tiger Lily. That's a great
they worked
point.
with what they had.
That's and we've been saying that following this whole trial. But that's exactly right. That gasses up her head into thinking there's much more going. She can blame them, and it gives her an out all the time. Nothing is ever her fault. And we were saying this the entire streaming time we were watching this. As soon as I knew the tide, I mean, like within 2 weeks in, I'm like, oh no. They just don't. These lawyers are just. It's not even that they're inept. They just had no believability or likability, and I just knew it. I could just tell by the way the shift of everything around me on social media and YouTube, and even novices watching it, that they hated everything they did, and I just knew it. And I knew at that point she's gonna blame. She has an out to blame them. Tiger Lily's absolutely right.
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime, and said you were acting.
Her lifetime.
What do you say to
Here
that?
we go.
Says
Pause.
the lawyer for the man.
Sarah, just to let you know, when you say pause, it's not quite as easy
I
as when the
get
video.
it, but go back a minute or a few seconds. Okay.
Performance of a lifetime, and said you were acting.
Okay. Watch her deliver this line, and watch her sit on it like it's the greatest line ever told in the history of lining.
What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
Look at this pause.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, even that's a cliche. The Edward Scissorhands thing with Depp, even though she's trying to, she thinks she's saying the most brilliant gotcha thing in the world. And I've seen this line, and it's been overanalyzed to death by everybody jumping on the
But it's so
bandwagon.
stupid.
But it's
so
the
stupid.
cliche of using Edward Scissorhands in everything Depp. You think you are so clever when you say, and she's appealing to the humanoids who only know an Edward Scissorhand reference or Pirates of the Caribbean Jack Sparrow reference. It's not. It doesn't even fit. Him being convincing, I would use George Young
it's
and Blow.
rehearsed.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, but I would use like George Young and Blow. Like that's him playing
But
a real
remember,
guy, being
she
very
doesn't think the
convincing.
peasants know that role.
That's why that's what I'm saying, telling you. So Edward Scissorhands is the go-to Depp reference for the humanoids, and that's why she used it. As ridiculous as it sounds, Scissorhands, and that's we don't expect anything more from her.
Well, she nods halfway through this pause, like she expects Savannah to high five her.
What happened to not knowing his movies?
Yeah, I know.
Well, as mainstream as it is, you saw Edward Scissorhands, I guess.
I'm the performer. I had listened to weeks of testimony insinuating that, or saying quite directly that, I'm a terrible actress.
Welcome to a trial.
I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The Depp
You're not
team
good.
argued
Nobody
that
said you're good.
Tiger Lily goes, her attempts at facial expressions are hysterically bad. How does she get acting work ever? It's a dumb business, Tiger Lily. It's not about talent. That's what I love about sports, because it's all merit based. The best of the best is usually always doing it. The best is very, very rarely does that. And so in stuff like acting and music and comedy, it's bullshit. A lot of times it's just who you know, and cronyism and nepotism and depotism and Lily Rose getting roles. And it's not about skill, and it's arbitrary as to what even skill is and believability. But we universally think she's the shittiest actress. That's unfortunately, that industry is not about. There's no such thing as talent rising to the top. It's not. You're deluding yourself if you think it is. If the best of the best are doing the work, the best of the best are getting the Oscars. It's the best musicians are the Davids of the world, not fucking Adam Levine. Our teacher's pet.
you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes
Never said that in the audio.
It becomes normal, as I testified to. You have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of.
A second. Is it skipping for you?
These audio tapes. They were first.
It's not skipping for me. I don't know about the chat. You can't always go by me though. You want me to start again?
No, you keep going.
It's skipping for you. Tell me what you're thinking.
The video's lagging. I can still hear it.
Okay. You want me to lower the?
No. Keep going.
It's online after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight. And here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours.
Her thing is now she's claiming there's so much evidence they weren't allowed to submit, and so that there's actual context to these, and this is her alibi.
Then her attorney should have put the entire audio in. Her attorneys are the ones that played 2 seconds of him wailing on an airplane, supposedly.
Yeah.
When Depp's team put in 4 hours of audio for every video or every exhibit. So please, and I've heard all of them. They're not going to help you. This is not the argument you think it is. You should be in jail after listening to this audio. You're making people think that there's some mystery piece of tape where suddenly he admits to hitting her. That never happens.
Well, that's why I'm very hardcore about him lowering the boom, not moving on. And I think that he should initiate a paper trail and a lien that she's anything she does
He can't
goes
do
back
anything
to him,
though after
because
the 24th.
she needs to be taught the lesson. As Gina Bobina pointed out, it's like saying, "Oh, community service, my friend will do it for me." No, you're doing it. You're paying. That's the only lesson she'll ever learn, and that he haunts his money. He doesn't even have to look at it. He could donate it to charity, whatever. She has to be reminded that she tried to ruin his and his family's life, and as charmed a life as Depp still has, and really will always have. It is something, if you do have personal integrity and you pride yourself on being kind and living by a certain creed, I do believe, he probably wakes up in nightmares still to this day, and sullied, and I do believe the trauma in that, and she needs to be taught a lesson that, and this Me Too, and it's going to be, a lot of it is valid, and it does happen, and there are monsters out there, and it's been proven, but that this system needs to be vetted, and you have to prove, before you ruin someone's life, you got to prove, you have to have actual proof, and a lot of it, and she needs to be set an example, like Brittany Griner, because there's nothing. How, if you don't have the money to hire Ben Chu and Camille Vasquez and Brown Rudnick, you're fucked. And they are out there. There are guys now, living in basement apartments and homeless and God knows what, that their wives just destroyed them, and their wives
cheated, and that's why they divorced.
And it's the wife who cheated. And again, I'm not saying the guy's right all the time. I'm not doing that.
No, but it happens way more than
it does happen way more than it should.
Women
and that's the lesson.
3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
Yes. I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I was talking in those recordings as a person, an extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He says he never hit you. He never. Is that a lie?
Yes, it is.
What about the witnesses who said they have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank, person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call.
I'm sorry, Sarah, what?
What does file rank mean? It's like she hears something somebody else
Yes.
said, and she just fucks it up.
Well, I know, in all fairness, a lot of us learn the language by listening to, I think I've learned a ton. So listening to a lot of talk radio and listen, you glean stuff and through osmosis, and that's how you learn the language. It doesn't have to everything taught from school, but some people are just good at it, and some people are just completely contrived before. And some people just, she's, again, as an actress, where you're reading other people's lines, you're also stealing other people's dialogue and speech and their stories and their nomenclature, and that's clearly what just misusing one $20 word after the next.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's talking about people filing rank. She's surrounded by people that file rank.
The rank and file.
I know.
Is the phrase. The spray painted eyebrow. Sunflower Dragon loves eyebrows too, I guess.
God,
I think
when
it's a
they zoom
broad
in on
thing.
her, look at the dark spots in those brows. Distracts me more
I
than
know
anything.
Sunflower Dragon's right. If you actually screamed fire in a movie theater, it's such a cliche. I don't think anybody would pay attention to it. I think we're so tired of hearing about like, oh, that's not a real thing. Nobody would do. Why would there be who's lighting a fire in a movie? What would even be lit on fire? What's even flammable? Like, what would you
light the
What would
curtains.
like? What would like? What is he? What is people bringing fucking lighter fluid?
Yeah.
Is there asbestos in a deal? What's the dumbest thing in the world? I'm so tired of hearing that.
Any of
It's the least likely place
witnesses,
to be a fire.
Any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it
Because
from
they will sue you.
what it felt like for me as the person who sat there.
When I asked his lawyers, why do you think you won? And the answer I got was because she never took responsibility for anything she did
still doesn't here.
in the marriage.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable.
This is her accountability, but it's a humble brag. It's like saying, I was in such pain. I was so that I reacted to him reacting.
Well, she's
This
gonna
is
get to
me.
why she did it.
It's gonna end soon though. We're gonna have to. Pellel writes, this is the man who convinced the world that Gilbert was a grape.
Well, I also we know now why he didn't look at her in court, because his eyes were gouged out in Mexico. He couldn't.
That's right. What if Johnny said the lawyer was for the woman who convinced the world she could breathe underwater?
Yeah. No, she still didn't convince me of anything
I'm
in that
still
movie.
not convinced.
After this is over, you need to find part 2.
David said, I learned around age 8 that sometimes movies are fiction.
Yeah.
We'll continue this, I guess, Saturday?
No, there's a second part.
To myself ways. There's so much, I have so much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong. I will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship.
Out of her mouth.
Yeah, look at that. I paused it at the perfect time. I didn't mean to even do that. G Canada, good point. If talent was his thing, Will Smith would never have gotten a role of the worst actor ever, in my opinion. Said that bitch slap. Well, also too, G Canada, here's a rapper, right? So now we're so bereft of actors. How many actors are there that train and go to school for it and did their whole? And then we're just gonna take rappers and throw them in movies before that guy who's been slugging it out in off Broadway theater for 25 years. That's why it's bullshit. You're absolutely right. And even if you think Will Smith's good now or he got better as time went on, that's just an example of you could just take a rapper and throw him in movies and, oh, hey, cool, DMX is in a movie. And then I mean, Samuel Jackson goes, I have so many friends, these super talented thespians that just can't get arrested. And we're just putting Ice Cube in movies over and over again.
Because I was, and it was ugly.
There's a second
and could
part.
be very beautiful.
What?
That scene in the corner
very,
there?
very toxic.
Yeah.
That's the second part.
The one
came out, yes.
my curse is on? Okay.
Yep.
I still have love for
Thank
Johnny.
you. Good call.
Yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
After everything?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love him.
Well, this makes her look like she has empathy. You know, there's still love in my heart. I'm not a sociopath. It's her attempt at trying to diffuse the Deppford Wives.
If a man did this to me with what she has hit me with rings on
Right.
his fingers, assaulted me with a bottle, pulled me through the house by the hair, I don't have any love, and I want him to die.
Right. Then it diffuses your whole. Okay, this is the worst thing ever, and this guy's he's a monster. He's the monster.
Mhm.
So why would you have love still? I mean, that's the last thing you should have.
Maybe you're psychotic.
I mean, that's even that face is. The eyes are always crazy.
I loved him with all my heart.
Enjoy the second part of Amber Heard's
Oh,
interview on
okay.
Today's Show at NBC with exclusive insights.
There's a
That's not
text
it.
message where Johnny promises
No, it's good enough. I
total
guess.
global humiliation for you. Do you feel like that came true?
Pause, 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 pause.
Hold on.
No, not you. I'm talking to her.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
doing fine.
I know he promised it. I testified to this.
Brian Janu.
I'm not a good victim. I get it. I'm not a likable victim.
But you
I'm
said
not
you
a
weren't a
perfect
victim, and you've never
but
used that term.
If you're not a likable victim, why are you going in? Why are you an actress? Aren't you supposed to? Why would you play a protagonist in Mira? I mean, we're supposed to root for you. All you do is every time she has a character profile, if you hear her in any interview, you go back and we'll do that someday. It's always the same thing. She's heroic. She's strong. She's a rebel. She doesn't take anything from. She fights for the little guy. Well, then I guess you possess none of that. Then why are you so hateable? Then why did you even go into this?
I still have to. I roll my eyes so hard. Every interview she does, she's like, the character I play, she's beautiful.
It's always the same.
God, honey.
But it's all. But you know, I've showed
Compliment
these videos to you.
yourself.
She's strong. She's a rebel. She's talking about herself. There's nothing worse than when an actor or an actress talks about their character, but they're bragging about themselves. It's this veiled thing where it's just like they only take roles that they think that's who they, in their own eyes,
Yeah.
that's who they are. It's just her humble brag. It's not even a humble brag.
It's pretty clear here she's just trying to
What's
gain
God? Come
sympathy
on.
and make people in the middle believe that she accepts being truthful, that she has shortcomings.
I
but
don't
she
need
is
your
still a victim.
psychoanalysis. I'll do
She's
my
trying to
own.
gain the
Thank
confidence
you.
of others that she is true by accepting a mistake, and then under its shadow trying to convince that she is indeed a true victim. This
It's
is
up
as
to you
close
if
to
you
the
want to
truth
look
you'll
for a
ever hear
second
from her
part.
mouth, folks, that she wasn't a
What?
good victim.
It's up to you
She's
if you want to
never
look for the generic second part.
It's this is not even from NBC, but I don't know. Let's fight it
going
out.
to admit.
as though he has, which is a promise to do this. When I testified, I asked the jury to just see me as human and hear his own words, which is a promise to do this. It feels as though he has.
Okay, so as per Amber Heard, Johnny Depp promised to ruin her life, but he did absolutely nothing till 2018
Yeah,
until
thank
she
you,
wrote
David
that
C.
Washington op-ed. She was still
And
getting
Duffy.
movies and all these brand endorsements. It's just time that she accepts that she really got too eager to capitalize to make a name for herself at the peak of Me Too movement.
Having been found liable, are you nervous as we are here today about
We'll go through the whole interview
what
Saturday.
you can say now?
I like what David C says here. This is what we said, David, right in the beginning, like week 2, when we knew she was going to lose. Or I mean, to get all 7 jurors on the same page is pretty amazing. I don't like that system at all. I really don't like it.
Yeah.
In Virginia, Amber should start researching Silicon Valley. We were saying that, David C, like a fucking. That's exactly what that's going to be the next grift. You know, some Saudi Arabian, Japanese businessman, or exactly what you're describing. Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, let's go through the whole thing Saturday or Sunday,
Well,
whatever
we're
day
only
we
for
do
3
it.
hours.
No, but this guy's annoying. We'll talk about it
You are not
ourselves.
annoying. I'll have you know.
Let's we'll go through the whole thing then.
Okay, we're at like the 16-minute mark.
I don't even know how it's edited on the full version.
All I got to do is I have to just reduce that to like 720 so it plays smoother.
You're in charge of it, so.
It's not no, the video you have, it's great. It's just too it's 4K.
Well, when you sometimes when you put the chat up at the same time a video is playing, it fucks the video up.
That could be too. Let's just close Pelel, Legina. So we're at the 2-hour 51-minute mark.
I know, I got to go to bed.
Okay, David, well, this monkey sound she does make monkey sounds, right? The side face talking is killing David as well. It's like she's chewing the back. She is from Texas, David.
Well, yeah, she's a Southern belle. She has a speech impediment too that drives me crazy. Like I don't, but I know I do. But she has a problem with T's, especially when they're surrounded by vowels. The T doesn't get pronounced. It's weird. It drives me crazy.
Sorry, Afi, I stand corrected. Jet Li in the DMX movie was amazing. Jet Li was in Pirates 4, Sarah? Was it? No, not Jet Li. Who's the other? Not Jackie Chan. Who's the other martial artist? God damn it, I forget. 50 Cent had been shot 20
Fat? I don't know.
No, it's it's a good reference. 50 Cent had been shot 22 times. Who's the shooter? Amber is a con artist that got caught. Yes, yes, yes. Kevin Cowie, Ice Cube in children's movies. Not so punk rock, is it? I was in search of, without being a wigger, I was in search of blackness in high school. And I was the only white. My locker was. We talked about Sarah's locker. So she had Johnny Depp and Luke Perry in her locker, and my locker was in no particular order. I can't remember how it went.
Black men.
Yeah, so it was in all white, the whitest school I think in all of Long Island, and I was very much in search of blackness in a school that was not very basketball oriented, except my generation. It was Xavier McDaniel, Lafayette Lever, Jerome Kersey, Clyde Drexler, Armin Gilliam, Karl Malone, Wayman Tisdale from top to bottom. That was my locker.
Why weren't Jerome Kersey and Clyde Drexler on the top?
I don't know what they might have been. I don't know what the order was. The Blazers are my favorite team.
Good for you.
And
nice
and then my favorite bands were Living Color.
Oh, okay.
Who Corey Glover, Danny Glover's nephew, was in Platoon and played in the Depp band in Platoon. He was the lead singer. Kevin Dillon on drums.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to go over that Platoon document. Charlie and NWA was my favorite rap band.
Yeah.
And I love them. I really, really love them. And the movie's great, by the way. The NWA.
Brian, thank you, Brian, so much. You're a great contributor here. We appreciate it.
Contributor, as Pat Cooper.
I wanted to get that because he got cut off last time. So
yes. Oh, David goes, oh my God, her answering this question is like Julia Roberts' weepy monologue in Notting Hill. Oh my, Hugh Grant in Notting Hill.
Let's plan the next one for Saturday. I'll put up a thumbnail at some point tomorrow, and we'll go over the whole thing without any.
And some more stuff we find too. I mean, in addition to the more, I mean, I'm trying to remember what else I wanted to add to this. There's other things besides. I mean, we could just do the whole show on that. It would be nice and easy. Okay. Let's see if I can. What I'm gonna do, and I don't know if this is gonna be the next one after that. I'm gonna voice over the Rolling Stone article from Stephen Roderick that started all this. And we're going to stop it. And I'm going to do the Depp impression of the times he's quoted. Stephen Roderick did a brilliant Rolling Stone piece on Depp in 2018 that is with Adam Waldman. And he goes to England for about 3 days and stays with him. And it's just a brilliant piece. It's so good. Her cheek implants, Lauren Marie, are so distracting. Why she messed with Lauren, I don't know if you came in late. We had a whole thing about that if you go back and listen. She messed her face up with that age. It's beyond me. Her surgeon should be brought up on charges. It's so well said.
I don't know what the purpose of it was. She looked okay before.
If she really loved Johnny, wouldn't she call him a fat old man, has been, washed up, bad dad, etc.? Yeah, I mean, I've said some things I didn't mean, but she definitely meant that.
Oh,
I've said to people to people I love, but that's stuff that you can't take back. That shit. Don't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
I know.
That's exactly what that is. There's no. What does he say at the end? We couldn't understand him. We play that audio where he goes, "Oh, really? You don't talk about my son in England?" What does he? It trails
I
off
have to
at the
remember
end.
because using my kids like you. Oh my God, I gotta listen to it again.
Like it's another something.
Yeah.
And I just go, I rewound it
Like you
600
desired or
times.
something.
All right, that's it. That's it. Like a design. We couldn't decide whether it was
I can't.
designed
I've
or
listened to it
desire.
so many times.
You're talking about my kids in London, like a design. No. And honestly, guys, I rewound it 600 times. I can't understand it. And maybe we'll play it next time. Maybe someone can decipher it because I speak fluent Japanese and I don't have a clue what the word. And it's even in pretentious tones, like whether he's British or Irish 1 minute. It still didn't make sense. Like a design. It's like desire and design. He fused them together. And I know the robot voice, Kevin Cowie now.
Is Sarah
Brian
even a
Janu,
fan?
thank you,
Of
sir.
what?
Of what?
Of Depp? Of course.
Why would they doubt that?
I don't know. Affy doesn't
You
like
lock her?
me.
I know Affy's a ballbuster.
I know he does. I'm just kidding.
I don't agree, Scott Baylor. Living Color was excellent. I saw them. My friend Brendan is airtight music taste, and he's a huge fan. If Brendan likes it, it is good. Make no mistake. He will keep you honest. That dude has airtight music taste. I saw Living Color 3 times. I saw him at a place called Sundance. I saw him at Stony Brook University. I love Corey Glover took the mic. He goes, hey, I want to welcome everybody to Stony Brook. It was so sarcastic. He'd never heard of the town before, and he didn't know how to say it without sounding sarcastic. But they were cool. It's a black heavy metal band. I mean, how ballsy is that?
I could never get into them. I don't know why. Or the Chili Peppers. I just don't care.
Well, they were bridge bands because they led to grunge, right? I mean, those even Skid Row kind of was. I was at the theater watching the new Jurassic Park. Oh, Lauren, you're so cute. It actually looks good. The special effects look good. The trailer I watched, the action scenes look really good. Sometimes you just watch it for the action and don't worry about the story. Are you really looking for depth of story and characterization in Jurassic Park?
I'm waiting for the Elvis movie. Yes, it's pitiful, but on the 24th. I don't think I'm even going to go see it. I think I'm going to legally watch it from home.
Who's the guy who looked like Elvis on 90210?
Vincent Young.
Ah, right. I think Aaron Spelling is like secretly gay, and he just casted like old 50s idols.
He's got
Like
a little.
Luke Perry reminded him of James Dean, and that guy looked like Elvis. All right, everyone. Let's stretch this to exactly 3 hours and sign off. It's a minute and 30 seconds. I'm not even a huge G candidate. Scotty, I'll think about it when the Wicked Witch of the North. After that, oh, sorry.
About my Elvis movie.
What's the title of the movie, Sarah?
Elvis.
It's just called Elvis. I mean, why not,
Yeah.
right? Why even try to be tricky with it? That's right. That's keep it simple for the humanoids.
It's supposed to be very, very good. So I'm hoping.
Did Tom Hanks have anything to do with it?
Yeah, he plays the Colonel.
Does he produce it?
I don't know. Maybe he's got a credit in there somewhere, but I think he's just the Colonel.
I thought he has something to do with it creatively.
I don't know.
Isn't Elvis like a huge Shazam fan?
He was growing up, yeah. And
Captain Marvel.
The TCB logo in the 70s was copied basically from Shazam's lightning bolt.
So you said that this makes me love Elvis because I love Shazam. I love Shazam.
Good. You can watch.
I am
I'll
a
send you the
Captain
copy
Marvel,
of it.
Billy Batson nerd. I think Shazam's way better than Superman. The swoop in Elvis's hair is based on Shazam's hair.
Oh,
Did you tell me that?
I don't know that. He had a hairdresser. He didn't do his own hair.
You said it was based on Shazam's hair.
The lightning bolt that he wears, the logo, the Taking Care of Business logo, that was like his entourage. That was their logo.
By the way, is that still TCBY? Wasn't that a yogurt place? Is that still around?
TCB. Did I say Y?
Yeah.
Oh God, I meant TCB.
We love you too, Crazy Robin. Thank you.
And we already have a volunteer for a co-host for you, but I'm going to let it be a surprise.
Now you can tear a building down, but you can't erase a memory. These houses made of falling down, but they have a value you can see. Bam. Good internet. That's my favorite Living Color song. This is my neighborhood. This is where Crazy Robin comes from. You call Crazy Robin's place a slum.
I don't even know
call
these
this
songs.
place a home. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Saturday, Sarah, or Sunday? What's better for you?
Maybe Saturday.
What does the chat think? I like Saturday's such a nothing day, right?
No,
I think we
I
should
don't.
go.
I can go either way. I don't care.
I think we should gun for Saturday because the NBA. If there's a game 7 in the NBA Finals, it will be Sunday.
The first 3 responses I see in chat will be the answer.
Crazy Robin, do you know that song? The Living Color song?
Why? Because she's black?
No. She said she loved Living Color before. Yeah, and
Oh, I
yes,
didn't see that.
yes, and because she's black, especially because only because she's black.
If we do it Saturday, we can do it at night.
What do you? I mean, I like that 4 in the afternoon, Eastern time.
I don't care.
Isn't that a good time for everybody?
I
That
really
stupid
don't
dead
care.
time in the middle of the day.
Crazy Robin, don't spoil the game.
Oh, they're giving spoilers
Yeah, don't
away?
look. Don't look at chat for a second.
Okay, I'm not gonna look. I'm not. Everybody, I want to thank you again for joining. Thank you, Brian Janu. No, she doesn't like Living Color. Crazy Robin.
Oh,
Saturday's a beach day for Lauren Marie. It would have been listened to the beach. Lauren, you're on the East Coast though. You'll be home by 7, right? You don't stay. I do love that later time on the beach though, 7 o'clock when everybody leaves. Because it will be. We could push it later maybe if you want.
No, it's okay, Crazy Robin. He overreacts when you spoil a score on a basketball game.
We could do it, man. How about 7 o'clock Eastern time?
Yeah, I don't care.
Is that good for Pell? That's all that matters. It's all about Pell. It's all about his Kryptonian watch in the Phantom Zone.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
forward
everyone.
real quick.
Go.
I'm gonna forward you the email from your co-host who would like
Okay.
who's interested and
Does
get back
it
to
have
them.
your approval?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't
All right.
have to be one. It could be multiple people.
Yeah, no, whatever. Could be every
Okay.
Thursday. I get a day off.
All right, everyone. I love you all in the chat. Thank you for all your brilliant comments. There's more with this game on Saturday evening. This is ARM for Sarah saying, no time is a good time for goodbye.
So goodbye.